KERN.
Evidence remains to be seen. I'm Chris Davis. Body cam video of the incident Friday night where a man was shot and killed by Bakersfield police officers at a house on Ellisville Street may end up being released, says Bakersfield PD. The police tell KGET that the video will be released as the investigation allows. Police say the man who was killed was uncooperative, armed, and threatening police and family members with his gun. His name has not been released, and the officers involved are on administrative leave, as is standard procedure. If you've been following the story about the person who was shot and killed in the parking lot of the Foods Company on White Lane Friday night, you should be aware that Bakersfield PD arrested two 17-year-olds and charged them with homicide-related crimes. Police also say it happened when the two 17-year-olds held up the store and that the victims followed them into the parking lot where one of the teens shot at the two, hitting one person who died at the scene. The names of the people arrested are being withheld for now because of their age. The name of the person hit and killed last night on Highway 178 at Union Avenue in Bakersfield also has not been released, and neither has much other information on how that happened. The California Highway Patrol says the person was hit in the westbound lanes shortly after 9 p.m. No info yet on the driver or whether they stayed and cooperated with police. People who live in the mountain areas like Lebec have been worrying about mountain lions killing pets and farm animals. The Mountain Enterprise newspaper reports that game cam video has captured plenty of video of the animals and that people have demanded help now from Fish and Wildlife. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this, bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make your call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show in the year 2026. Our debut broadcast in the new year. Want to thank all of my guest hosts who filled in while I was gone. Cathy Abernathy, we'll talk to today at 4 o'clock. Teresa Goldner. Cassie Biddle, owner-operator KC Steakhouse. And Rick Bentley, not once, but twice. I had a wonderful vacation. Hope you had a great holiday. I slept my vacation away, much to my great joy. I really enjoyed my holiday. I really did. I had my nephew break my heart, just reach into my chest and absolutely crumble it up and throw it on the ground. I took this uneducated boy to Tommy's on Rampart. And do you know what he said when we got into the Uber to leave? If you really think about it, you could probably make a very educated guess, having said he has broken my heart forever.
Is it something Dodger related?
No, we were at Tommy's.
Tommy's, I'm sorry.
It was burger related.
It was burger related, okay. Something tells me that he didn't enjoy Tommy's burgers at all.
We should have gone to In-N-Out.
Oh, don't say that now.
This poor misguided child. And he turns 19 today. It's his birthday. Just sent him more money. But he's a good kid. We had a great holiday. My mother is in good spirits, in okay health, but everyone is doing fine. And like I said, I slept my vacation away. I really did. I slept when I was in LA. I slept when I got back, and I was fortunate enough to sneak in a round of golf on Friday, the rare day that it was gorgeous, actually. It got a little cold when the clouds would come out, but it was like 65 degrees, got warm at times, and I played fairly well for not playing in 3 months. As I was just telling JR, 4 holes ruined me. I started double, triple, but knew I was going to play okay because I was hitting the ball fine. I had a par putt on 1 and 3 putted for double. Then I went to the par 5, and I had to chip out. I pulled my drive. I had a great drive, but I just pulled it just a little bit in the woods and didn't have a shot, so I chipped out. I had a little 9-iron from 120, but it's uphill, so I hit 8-iron and flew the green. And then that green sloped straight down, so I'm above the pin, and I chipped down, and it rolled off the green, and I made triple. But then for 7 holes, I was 4 over. I went bogey, and then I parred 6, 7, 8, and had a par putt on 9 and missed it. And then parred 10, bogeyed 11, missed a birdie putt on 12 that I should have made, and then went double, triple again. But how many strokes did Mr. Zucchini beat me by, Chris Burdick?
I'm assuming with the upbeat tempo of your voice, I would say maybe 3? 2. Wow.
Strokes.
Nice.
Shot at an 89. I shot at 91.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. He hadn't played 3 months either. So this was my big opportunity, and I blew it. I absolutely blew it. Should have made par on 18. Missed a putt. I couldn't make a putt. Although I did make a couple putts, but I've had 3 birdie putts that I missed on those par where I went on that little 3-hole par run. 2 of the 3 were birdie putts that I should have made. God, I hit a great shot on 8. I had it from like 175. I hit it within 6 feet. And it was a little right to left putt, and I didn't hit it firm enough, and it cut right across the face of the hole. I'm sorry to return to bore you with my vacation. You didn't think I was going to talk about my vacation? We should have gone to In-N-Out.
That is a little. That's a pretty heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie.
What are you going to do? But we got a busy broadcast to get going to start the year. There's lots going on, as you can imagine, particularly internationally. We will obviously begin with what is going on with Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who were essentially arraigned today, insisting that he's still the president of Venezuela, when most of us with a half a brain know he's never, ever been the legitimate president of Venezuela. So we'll get into this in just a second. We'll talk about that with Cathy Abernathy at 4 o'clock. As you know, our last broadcast included Sheriff Donnie Youngblood, who told us things that none of us knew, that has never been reported. We tore up some of that audio, and we'll play that for you at the bottom of the hour, where we now know that Zach Scrivener spoke to the sheriff on that infamous day in Tehachapi. And I know at least a quarter of you saying, Ralph, you lied to us. Yeah, I know. I lied to you. Not really, though. I said, I'm not going to talk about Zach Scrivener again this year.
Yeah, no. Okay.
This year is what I said.
No, I see. Yeah, no.
Back in December.
It's true.
This is a whole new year. No, I lied to you. I flat out lied to you. But I just, I went on Facebook, I went on YouTube and saw that 400 people went back and viewed that interview. So there was obviously some interest, because when we first aired it, I think it was like 210.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so meaning, and we got to thank our good friend Ken Metler for that, who in his typical low-class, despicable way took an opportunity to take a shot at H.A. Sala and some of the people involved. You got to leave it to Metler. But in doing so, told people to go to our YouTube and watch and listen to the interview that we did with Sheriff Donnie Youngblood. So thank you, Ken Metler. Even though you didn't try to pump me up intentionally. But of course, he had to do it in the low-brow manner, calling H.A. Sala unethical, which is just a lie. Just a lie. He's one of the most ethical human beings I've ever met. One of the most honest, decent men I've ever met. It's like the line in HUD. Have you ever seen HUD? Paul Newman and Walter Matthau Paul Newman is waiting for his dad, Walter Matthau, to die because his dad doesn't want to drill for oil. And he recently bought a herd of cow that gives his herd foot and mouth disease. And the guy that has to tell him, you've got to destroy your whole herd, tells him, you got to destroy your whole herd, you have foot and mouth disease. And what's his name says, Melvin Douglas. Melvin Douglas says, he's not such a bad guy. He's just got a cruddy job. That's what I say about Saleh. He's a great guy, but in some respects, he's got a cruddy job. And as I talked about in our last show in 2025, I don't know if I was the only one that noticed in the 17th video of he and his client coming out of court. And maybe I'm just nitpicking, but normally clients and attorneys walk out together and they have some words. No, Saleh was about 10 yards ahead of Zach. He looked back, Zach turned left, and he turned right. I don't think Mr. Saleh cares for Mr. Scrivener any more than any of us do, but he had a job to do, and he did it well, and he kicked the AG's ass. And part of the reason I wanted to play this Youngblood audio again today was to dispel this ridiculous thought that continues to dominate many of your minds, that somehow Zach Scrivener got a pass because of Kern County or because of Cynthia Zimmer. Now, I still think what Cynthia Zimmer did was inappropriate in picking up the telephone and calling Donnie Youngblood, but he explains how that was completely moot. And beyond that, she did nothing, absolutely nothing to influence the investigation. The fault lies in Sacramento, period, end of sentence. But again, don't get me wrong. I'm not running roughshod or left tackle for Cynthia Zimmer. As I said in our last show, I think everyone with the name of Scrivener will never be elected to anything in this county ever again, including Cathy Scrivener, who some believe should be charged with obstruction of justice given her position in this community on a local school board and telling her grandchildren not to cooperate with police, which goes against everything I'm assuming all of us were taught. That you cooperate with law enforcement, you tell the truth, and let the chips fall where they may. And she absolutely involved herself in this thing. But beyond that, there is no Kern County involvement in this. This is all on Rob Bonta and this Joe Penny, who I did a little investigating on and got a little information on. And it kind of makes sense on how this whole thing worked out. And I think it starts with Bonta by putting a very inexperienced deputy AG who did a ridiculously absurd job in selecting the count that would have absolutely provided mental diversion for Zach Scrivener. They knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't want this guy to go to jail. I don't care what the relationship is with the AG's office and the local DA's office. The AG's office set this thing up so perfectly that allowed Zach Scrivener to walk away. But you all have to stop trying to implicate Kern County. We had nothing to do with this. And you'll hear Donnie Youngblood talk about that at the bottom of the hour. Let us get going. We'll give you a kind of a synopsis. There's not much more I can tell you about what's going on in Venezuela that you have not already heard. You know that Maduro and his wife, Cecilia, were in court today in the Southern District of New York. They will next appear in March on St. Patrick's Day. And as most of the pundits have talked about today, this thing's going to take months and months and months, if not years. But Donald Trump has done it again. He has placed the Democrats in a position where they're defending an arch criminal, an international criminal. And if you think this was a bad thing, talk to Venezuelans, talk to Cubans, talk to people who have lived under the destruction of what's once was an incredibly viable economy that was destroyed by Hugo Chavez, who tossed the baton to the criminal who's sitting somewhere next to Luigi Mangione and Sean Puffy Combs. in Brooklyn, New York, in the Metropolitan Detention Center. We are just getting started, literally, in the year 2026 on this Monday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, well, first of all, it's Tuesday. That means the triumphant return of Lois Henry from sjbwater.org. Elena Rusk will be joining us to tell us how much rain we got, and we'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News
I've got
Talk
some copy for them
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Got battery issues? Choose the number one name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
King Door Company continues to set the standard in the garage door industry, and I'm here to tell you a few of the reasons why. First off, King Door carries Clopay garage panels and LiftMaster openers, so you're guaranteed quality and reliability well beyond the reach of most garage door companies, and it just gets better from there. King Door has a fleet of fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and tools to handle any job quickly and efficiently, and those trucks are manned by the most knowledgeable technicians anywhere. They have all the technical expertise imaginable and the most up-to-the-minute training available. In fact, King Door is so committed to training that they have the King Door Academy, a full-size, state-of-the-art classroom right on the premises with all the latest teaching aids, including working garage doors to simulate any installation, repair, or technique. Your garage door is a very important part of the safety, security, and look of your home, so don't trust it to anyone but King Door Company. Call them today at 397-2744, stop by the showroom at 7450 District Boulevard, or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, your company with the pride of a lion.
Not again. This copier is always jamming.
We should call American Business Machines.
Since 1927, American Business Machines, an authorized Canon dealer, has been providing reliable office solutions. From state-of-the-art copiers to advanced printers, we ensure your business runs smoothly. Visit abm1.com or call us today at 1-877-YES-ABM1. That's 1-877-937-2261. American Business Machines, your trusted partner for all your office technology needs.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. Let their story unfold and gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. Hire skills first. Learn why at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
You make everything groovy. Wild thing.
So Democrats, simply because obviously Donald Trump performed this, we don't even have to say that, heads are exploding about what went on over the weekend in Venezuela, despite the fact that this is nothing new. You know, this is American politics, where the executive branch overrides Congress. That's just a fact, and it has been since Truman, since Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon. Jimmy Carter did nothing. Ronald Reagan, George Bush, when we went down and plucked out Noriega in Panama, when Obama bombed Yugoslavia and nabbed Gaddafi, when Clinton bombed Yugoslavia, Obama bombed, I can't read my own writing, but did pick up Gaddafi. I mean, this is what we do. This is not a war. This isn't even close to a war. And if you do a little research, as I have, you'll discover that in the New York Times some time ago, the president of the United States at the time called for a $25 million bounty on the head of Nicolas Maduro. This is about a year ago. I'm reading from the New York Times. The Biden administration said on Friday that it was offering $25 million for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, after he assumed a third term in office, despite evidence suggesting that he lost Venezuela's recent election. Evidence suggesting his opponent won 70% of the vote. The announcement was a retaliatory measure by Washington, which does not recognize Mr. Maduro as the rightful president of Venezuela. Mr. Maduro has presented no evidence that he won a July election, while his opponent, Edmundo Gonzalez, has presented thousands of publicly available vote tallies that he says indicate he easily won the most votes. The United States has said that Mr. Gonzalez is the president-elect of Venezuela and has urged Mr. Maduro to step aside. But now, when Donald Trump goes in and removes him, exactly what these people were calling for, all heads are exploding, and Trump should be impeached once again. And then there's the talking to Congress and notifying them. Here was Secretary of State Marco Rubio, I believe, on Face the Nation, or was it State of the Union? Doesn't matter. Here is our Secretary of State.
This was not an action that required congressional approval. In fact, it couldn't require congressional approval because this was not an invasion. This is not an extended military operation. This was a very precise operation that involved a couple of hours of action. It was a very delicate operation, too. It was one that required all these conditions to be in place at the right time in the right place. You couldn't afford leaks. We couldn't afford anything out there that would have endangered the mission and gotten people killed or killed off the mission and the optionality. We didn't even know if the mission was going to happen. How can you notify something you're not even sure if it can happen? Because in order for it to happen, you needed to have weather conditions in place. He needed to be at the right place at the right time. We needed to have forces prepared to go. There were a lot of factors in place. It was a trigger-based operation. But you can't notify that, number one, because you don't even know if it's going to happen, if those conditions will ever align. And number two, you can't risk it being disclosed. But this was not an attack on Venezuela. This was a law enforcement function to capture an indicted drug trafficker. And of course, we needed the Department of War to support it because they do have anti-aircraft missiles that could shoot down those helicopters.
To fortify the Democrats' position, here is a young Joe Biden. I believe this was also on Face the Nation.
Let's go after the drug lords where they live with an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists, and they must know it.
It's the hypocrisy is amazing. And this was an amazing expedition, absolutely amazing. That apparently they had a CIA team clocking this guy since August, using drones, knowing his daily routine. Then they built a replica of his safe house and obviously had rehearsals and practice runs, et cetera, et cetera. And they went in there and abstracted this guy, killed the Cuban guards that were in the way. There were no casualties on our part. And now a horrendous human being is gone and is, like I said, sitting next to Luigi Mangione and Sean Combs and where Ghislaine Maxwell was held at the Brooklyn Metro Detention Center, where he belongs. And now they're saying, well, what next? Well, what next? We've already seen what's next. The female vice president was already capitulating. You don't think that everybody in this region of South America isn't nervous? You don't think the Cubans are nervous? This sends a direct message that we will come in and extract your ass if you're going to continue to run. Again, what was an incredible economy. Venezuela was the Isle of the Jewel, the gem of South America. And then Chavez came in with the socialism, which just doesn't work. I've got some great audio we're going to play a little bit back in the program, where there's a young Venezuelan kid playing for the Miami Marlins. This is back in the 90s. And Vince Scully gets involved in a little political discussion. I don't think I have time. How much time I got? Yeah, I don't have time to play it right now, but Vin is like, this young Venezuelan just came up, and he's like, can you imagine? You're 21 years old playing in America, and everything you read that's going on in your country is going to hell. I don't know if he used the word hell, but he talked about socialism, how it never works. Even Vince Scully, a Fordham University graduate, smart enough to recognize this. And again, if this is anybody, if this is Gavin Newsom, if this is Josh Shapiro, if this is Amy Klobuchar, Democrats would be applauding. The only reason, the single solitary reason they are against this in any way is because Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth pulled it off. And Marco Rubio, primarily Marco Rubio, who I think is the leading candidate for 2028. He has handled this extremely well. He did all the Sunday programs. He explained how dangerous this man was, how incredible the mission was, and what is going to happen in the future. We'll talk about this more with Cathy Abernathy at the top of the hour. In the meantime, we'll get back into the Scrivener situation. We have some exclusive audio from Sheriff Donnie Youngblood on our final show in 2025. We'll have that for you next. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The U.S. has taken the unprecedented step of dropping the number of vaccines it recommends for every child, leaving other immunizations such as flu shots open to families to choose, but without clear guidance. Officials say the overhaul of the federal vaccine schedule announced Monday won't result in any families losing access or insurance coverage for vaccines. A day after the ouster of Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, President Trump is renewing his calls for an American takeover of the Danish territory of Greenland and is threatening Colombia with military action over its drug trade. Meanwhile, his top diplomat on Sunday declared the communist government in Cuba is in a lot of trouble. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 594 points. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
I can knock this out right now, Chris.
From the KERN
I can knock
newsroom,
this out right now. I
live
know
and
this
local
by
news
heart.
update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris.
Whenever you're ready.
Ready? 3, 2, attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. If you're eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. You know, for years, I've been telling you QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544 and let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2026. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs and meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711. I just ate that donut, so I was like drooling through the whole thing.
Up there?
I was drooling through the whole thing. How did it sound? Could you tell?
No, not really.
That was crazy.
to do with Venezuela, with Tim Walz dropping out as Minnesota governor. So many more big stories for us to chase. We're back with you in the catbird seat. Can't wait to get rolling on 2026. Make sure you don't miss it. Tuesday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A job by the door. Who is it for? All alone.
That was one of the changes we're going to make. More Beatles.
Ooh, yay.
More Beatles. And then I've got some more. I want to do some more Ella.
Okay.
I want to do some more Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
I want to funk it up a little bit. Did you know that Sade has a transsexual child?
No.
I don't know how that popped in my mind because I want to do some more Sade as well.
That's probably how it popped into your mind.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, that doesn't necessarily surprise me.
And it's sad because she was beautiful. She transformed from a girl to a man. And she was, she's Sade's daughter. Of course, she was gorgeous.
Naturally.
I don't get it and never, ever will. I just won't. Meantime, as I said in our last show, last time I was here, Sheriff Donnie Youngblood was our guest, and he was incredibly transparent on his role and others' roles in the whole Zach Scrivener situation now that it is in our rearview mirror. And again, I know I lied to you. I said it was the last time we we're going to talk about it. I would assume this be the last time we talk about it. I mean, I have exclusive audio that we got to use once, and we had 400 people go back and listen to it on YouTube, and you can still go back and listen to it on, what was that, the 24th, Christmas Eve?
Yes.
Was my last day here. So you can go back and listen to that as well. But I just wanted to go over some of the things because I think there is a common misconception that somehow Zach got away with murder. We all know that. I don't think in fact, you'll hear in some of the audio, the sheriff doesn't think this went down. Doesn't think this was kosher. But it had nothing to do with Kern County. It really didn't. I think it has something to do with elitism and a bigger club, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, because how the Attorney General's office handled this in the way that they did is inexplicable. It's absolutely inexplicable. And for the state's office, with all their power, to come in here and to get blown away by H.A. Sala. And I have sources that tell me that Joseph Penny, and I did a little experience. This guy is a rookie, essentially. He is a young prosecutor who they sent down. And, I forget who told me, I think it was our judge. And I slighted H. I really think that he's on the radar of the AG's office. She said, absolutely. She said, he's one of the finest attorneys in the state. Everybody knows about H.A. Sala, which proves that the AG's office diverted this thing in some way. They specifically charged him with something they knew would provide him with mental diversion. But again, as the DA or as Sheriff Donnie Youngblood talked about, while I still think Cynthia Zimmer shouldn't have made that call, there was nothing inappropriate about it.
I received a phone call in the middle of the night from the district attorney, and she was emotional. And she was, what she said to me was, nephew, Zach Scrivener, was having a psychotic episode and was armed with a gun, and she was afraid he was going to kill himself. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
What I can't tell her to hang up and call 911 because who's she going to call?
Right.
911 is going to be my comm center. They're going to then call me. So we react to those because the objective is to keep someone from killing themselves.
Right.
And I called the communication center. It's all on tape. He said dispatch deputies and Tehachapi PD if they're close, but have them go together collectively so we can keep from having to shoot this person.
Right.
And tactically, that's what they did.
He went on to talk about further in terms of the conversation between Cynthia Zimmer and the sheriff.
The phone call from Cynthia Zimmer was not at all inappropriate. I get called all the time from a lot of different people for a lot of different things. And this one's just unique because of the players, because of the seriousness of the events that was ongoing. I don't think that Cynthia Zimmer did anything wrong by calling me on my cell phone.
I don't think that gets her out of hot water. I really don't. I still think the perception is going to be that she acted inappropriately by picking up that phone. It's completely understandable. Two things can be true at the same time. That a concerned aunt is panicked that her nephew is going to hurt himself with his 4 children present, and you do what you believe is the most expeditious. That is completely understandable. Doesn't make it appropriate, though. It still doesn't make it appropriate. Did she do anything wrong? No. You can do something within the bounds of legality and it still be perceived as inappropriate. What we did learn on Christmas Eve in talking with Sheriff Donnie Youngblood is that Zach Scrivener was on the phone with the sheriff.
I received a second phone call where she informed me, the DA, that he was no longer armed. I called the comm center back and I said he's no longer armed, which is valuable information. Then at the scene, the deputy called me and said Supervisor Scrivener wanted to talk to me. I said, put him on the phone, still believing that he's having a psychotic episode only.
Right.
And he said, can you get these guys out of here? I'm fine. And my response was, no, they're going to do what they have to do. The deputy got back on the line, the sergeant, and he said, there's more to this story. And I said, do what you're supposed to do. And never did the DA ask me to do a favor of any kind or any shape. All she did was give me the information that I just articulated to you. What she knew and when she knew it, that's for her to answer. I don't know the answer to that.
So here is this man who is so ill he needs mental diversion, and yet he's savvy enough to get on the phone and ask for a favor from the sheriff. That's what we're supposed to believe. That he was so distraught he was going to take his own life in front of his children. And that he's so distraught that he's got to quit his job. He can't pay his wife and support his children. But he's mentally sound enough to take a class for his future out of Cal State. I asked the sheriff his thoughts on Zach Scrivener's mental health.
It seems to me that the children would have not been still in the home.
Yep.
It seems to me that there would have been reports of this, that we would have responded earlier to lesser offenses. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know the complexities of anxiety and whatever that he's now diagnosed with.
Right.
But I do know that taking drugs, taking alcohol, and molesting your child or doing things inappropriately with your child is not an excuse.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And the AG's office knows this, and they set up a lane where they knew this man would get a pass, a mental diversion pass, because that's what it is. And we've seen this. This isn't, H.A. Solid didn't create this lane. I was talking to several attorneys over my vacation and, in fact, talked to 2 separate judges. One I happened to run into, one called to wish me happy holidays, and both said that mental diversion programs are being pushed, as well they should be, given the mental health pandemic that we're experiencing, but they both agreed that they need to be examined closer. And remember, once again, this is not a Kern County failure. This was an attorney general's office who, by the way, has refused, as I told you they would, KGET's attempt to get the records, the phone calls involving Sheriff Youngblood and our DA, all the memos that were discussed in terms of the decision to make the count that they did that provided this lane for Mr. Scrivener. They've denied all that. And again, as I was about to say, this is an AG's office that went into a situation where the defense, Mr. Sala, selected the forensic psychologist that made the determination that Mr. Scrivener had a mental health deal. And yet, for whatever reason, the Attorney General's office, the top prosecutor in the state of California, could not find one forensic psychologist to even begin to refute the lone doctor who helped the decision by the judge to give this man mental health diversion. In a state the size of a country, Joe Penny, Rob Ponta could not find one man, one woman, one physician to come down here and say, I disagree with this guy. This kid's taking classes at Cal State. He was savvy enough to get on the phone and ask for a favor from the sheriff. The family felt comfortable enough to let 4 kids be in his care. There's no evidence up until the minute that he's facing prosecution that he's got some mental health problem. Go dig up Joe Penny in the AG's office. Go look up this kid. Go see who Bonta sent down here to rattle swords with H.A. Sala. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. They didn't want Scrivener to go into jail. They didn't want to make a mess of this. They didn't want to bring the kids to the trial, as the family did not. And now this thing has been swept under the carpet. There's nothing we can do other than, to be honest with you, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say, hope that he breaks his probation and does something stupid, which, given his life pattern all the way back to college, seems to be something that we'll deal with again. But again, we close the book on this saying no Scrivener will ever get elected in Kern County again. I don't suspect that our DA will run again, and that's a shame because all in all, I think she was a very good district attorney. But I think the minute she picked up that phone, I think it ended her career here, even though there is absolutely no iota of illegality or criminality on her part. And you could debate on whether it's inappropriate. The sheriff doesn't think it was. I still do. It just, the whole thing stinks to high heaven, and it's unfortunate. And of course, at the end of the day, the horrendous losers are those 4 kids who are forever scarred by this evil, evil man. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll check the board, see what you guys are talking about as we begin the new year. I haven't even looked in the chat room. There are a couple of people in there. Coming up at the top of the hour, Cathy Abernathy will join us. We'll talk more about the Venezuelan situation. I'll ask Cathy, what now? The regime ultimately remains intact, but I think they have witnessed a pretty good shot across the bow. I don't think this is about regime change as much as it was about, obviously taking out the snake who challenged us, absolutely challenged us. Come get me, I believe is what he said in Spanish. Okay. But it's about behavioral change. And we're seeing cooperation from the female then vice president, who obviously is not legitimate as well. She was elected on the Maduro ticket. She's just as illegitimate as he was. Although from all early accounts, she's more willing to play ball. And don't forget about that Venezuelan oil. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday. First Monday of the year, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Tuesday's Armstrong and Getty Show. Well, I guess we run Venezuela now. Who's next? Marco Rubio seems to indicate maybe Cuba. Ian Bremmer said Greenland is for real on the radar.
Oh my goodness. Plus tech that is going to change your world in 2026. Some really intriguing stuff coming down the line. That, and of course, the news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. Business owners, how many times have you called your IT company and felt like just another ticket number? Well, at Adaptive Networks, exceptional customer service isn't just the promise, it's how they do business every single day. And nobody knows that better than the folks here at American General Media, because they are a client of ours and we are a client of theirs. IT is incredibly important for a radio station. We can't depend on somebody saying, well, we'll be out there tomorrow, because all you hear is nothing. So it's do or die for us. That's why we depend on Adaptive Networks. And when you call, you'll actually talk to a real person who knows your name, understands your business, and genuinely cares about solving your problems. No phone trees, no run around, no attitude. That's what Adaptive Networks are all about. Call today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638. Join the IT network that American General Media uses every day.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Vance Furtado.
Hi, my name is Vance Furtado, and I saw Paul Sheldon's advertising, and my wife and I were going to need to begin Medicare very soon.
I just saw him walk in,
he would be a great guy to talk to. And we were not disappointed. He and his staff were excellent. They provided much needed guidance for us, and we would recommend Paul Sheldon and his agency to anyone.
I just did your eye spot.
When it comes to
what's going on?
The confusing world of Medicare.
Got through it.
Medicare
so you guys
can be
coming in Wednesday?
Confusing. That's why my wife and I were so glad that we went to Paul Sheldon. He and his staff were incredibly helpful to us. So I would recommend Paul and his agency to anyone. Thank you, Paul, for all the help that you provided, giving us an excellent sense and direction of how best to satisfy our needs when it comes to Medicare.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. I was always tired, sleepy, and had no energy.
I had relentless, debilitating headaches.
Valley fever has many faces and impacts people differently. If you have a lingering cough, fever, or painful breathing for more than 2 weeks, talk to your doctor.
I am Quan Louie.
I am Bryn Kerrigan.
Kids love that.
And we are the faces of Valley Fever.
All right, man. We'll see you Wednesday.
Visit kernpublichealth.com to learn more.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Shouldn't have been a messin'. And now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
So I got rid of Paramount Plus.
Finally.
Had to do it.
If you're not watching the show that you're planning on watching,
That I bought it to watch.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point?
And then I noticed that I got Showtime with it as well.
Oh, it's true, because the two are, yeah.
So, and then I had to sit down with the boy and watch some 8-episode series called I Love LA. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Wow.
Docuseries or?
No, just like a comedy. She's a up-and-coming show business person who's got a friend that she grew up with who is a minor show business star, and she's trying to help her become a star. And as they say in Hollywood, that's where the stupidity begins. And it was awful, but I promised the boy I'd watch it with him, and he loved it. It's just such a generational difference. It was so incredibly stupid. And with phrases, I mean, you talk about feeling old, phrases that I'm just like, I'm not going to turn to him and ask him what that means. But I have no idea what that girl just said. It's weird. It really is. It's just.
Can I ask which one got you?
What do you mean?
Like which phrase almost got you to ask?
I can't remember.
Can't remember? Okay, I was just curious.
Something about, it was like Riz. He has Riz, but he doesn't have this. And I was like, well, what is that? I thought Riz was good. That's what I wanted to tell him. She's like, he's got Riz, but he doesn't have this. And I can't remember what this, it was just stupid. This kid's in their late 20s, early 30s. It was just ridiculously stupid. If anybody's ever seen it, please feel free to chime in. Anything on the board before we get Cathy in here?
Yeah, we got a couple here.
What do you got?
Ralph, you can quote all the previous Democratic statements you want. The most important one is Trump promising no new wars. I know you need to keep your job here in MAGA country, but be intellectually honest with yourself.
Do I have to deal with this like every week? Like, I don't go against my audience. Really? Me? Me? Of all radio talk shows, I don't go up against my. First of all, this is not a war. There are no boots on the ground. This wasn't an invasion. This was a targeted strike. Nothing more than what Barack Obama did. But I didn't hear Democrats pulling their hair out of their heads when Obama killed citizens, killed American citizens. Never heard that. This is no different than what George Bush did, Herbert Walker, when we went in and plucked out Noriega in Panama. This is what it is. And if you're so against it, go talk to a Venezuelan. Go talk to a Cuban. See how they feel about it. Why are Venezuelans dancing in the streets? Do you people that are criticizing this even know who Nicolas Maduro was and what he was responsible for? The deaths, the horror, and the destruction of an economy? And yet, who is the richest person in Venezuela? Let me play a little, I got time now. Let me play you, since it's just me, right? It's just me and I'm just trying to keep my job, right? After going on, it'll be 13 years in March, but I'm still just preaching to the choir because I'm afraid I might lose my job after 13 years. But let me just play something for you from somebody that I assume that you do respect.
25 years old, originally drafted by the Tigers, lives in Venezuela. Boy, can you imagine you're a young kid playing in the United States, you're from Venezuela, and every time you look at the news, it's a nightmare. A bunt attempt is missed. Runners were holding 0-2. Socialism failing to work as it always does, this time in Venezuela. You talk about giving everybody something free and all of a sudden there's no food to eat. And who do you think is the richest person in Venezuela? The daughter of Hugo Chavez. Hello. Anyway, 0-2.
Vincent Edward Scully, Fordham University graduate. And who is the richest person in Venezuela? Chavez's daughter. There's a shock. And he chronicled it as the history minor that he was. He was an English major and a history minor. Socialism fails yet again. And Trump has bamboozled you and the Democratic Party because here you are on a local radio show accusing me of configuring a narrative to soothe my audience. And here you are defending Nicolas Maduro and socialism in South America. Well, you go on, you right ahead. You clutch onto that. You keep thinking that socialism can work and that the people of Venezuela are not better off today than they were a week ago. But it's just me pandering to my audience. It's not just common sense. What else you got?
Let's see. Trump's speech Saturday, he mentioned oil 20 times, freedom and democracy 0 times. This is a gift to oil tycoons. The Honduras President Hernandez was a partner of El Chapo.
The president of what?
President Hernandez, the Honduras president.
Oh, the one that was, everybody wants to use that now that he impeached the Honduran president. Who gives a damn about that? Who gives a doggone about that? I don't care about that. All I know is there is new life in Venezuela for Venezuelans, and we've taken out a horrible, despicable human being. Even Ana Navarro on The View, applauded the fact that Maduro is gone. And she is a naturally born Nicaraguan who grew up and lives in Miami and is married to a Cuban man who is ecstatic about what has happened. Again, for those of you who have not done so, and I'm assuming that's the majority of you on the left, just go read about Nicolas Maduro. And why did your president, Joe Biden, have a $25 million bounty on this man? Did you listen to the audio of Joe Biden calling for us to go after these narco terrorists? You're just going to ignore that? But I'm pandering, but you're going to ignore all the evidence that I've presented thus far. Quick time out. Cathy Abernathy joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM.
Hey.
Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. At a UN Security Council meeting today, U.S. Envoy Mike Waltz defended this weekend's U.S. operations in Venezuela.
Well, I've done it like 12 times.
And the United Nations
in
this
spot,
body
it's just 2026 is the only difference.
confers legitimacy on an illegitimate narco-terrorist and the same treatment
I should have
in this charter of a democratically elected president or head of state. What kind of organization is this?
Meanwhile, nearby in New York, the Post strongman Nicolas Maduro was making his first appearance in an American courtroom on narco-terrorism charges the Trump administration used to justify capturing him and bringing him to New York. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is censuring Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
In November, Kelly joined 5 other lawmakers in a video that called on troops to uphold the Constitution and not follow illegal orders. Defense Secretary Hegseth said the censure was a necessary step toward proceedings that could result in a demotion from Kelly's retired rank of captain. Kelly responded by calling the move outrageous and wrong. The senator said it sends the message to every single retired service member that if they say something Hegseth or Donald Trump doesn't like, they will come after them the same way. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A man who broke windows at Vice President J.D. Vance's Ohio home and caused other property damage was detained early Monday, according to the Secret Service. The man was detained shortly after midnight after Secret Service agents assigned to Vance's home east of downtown Cincinnati discovered the break-in.
That's just stupid.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
How do you go outside in that weather?
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem
Where you
started
literally can't
about
expose your skin.
2016. I needed my life
you'll
to
get
change
freaking
financially. I
frostbite.
called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high
23
credit card
degrees.
bills and high interest rate. And my
Like, how do you go out at
counselor
night?
at Trinity has been great,
23
and
is the
Trinity
high.
has been helping me
That
to
means-
get on the
yeah,
right
but
path
it's like-
of paying off these credit card bills,
bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Evidence remains to be seen. I'm Chris Davis. Body cam video of the incident Friday night where a man was shot and killed by Bakersfield police officers at a house on El Alisal Street may end up being released, says Bakersfield PD. The police tell KGET that the video will be released as the investigation allows. Police say the man who was killed was uncooperative, armed, and threatening police and family members with his gun. His name has not been released, and the officers involved are on administrative leave, as is standard procedure.
Your buddy,
if you've been following the story about the person who was shot and killed in the parking lot of the Foods Company on White Lane Friday night, you should be aware that Bakersfield PD arrested two 17-year-olds and charged them with homicide-related crimes. Police also say it happened when the two 17-year-olds held up the store and that the victims followed them into the parking lot where one of the teens shot at the two, hitting one person who died at the scene.
And then I reached out to him
arrested 5 or 6 years ago for now because of their age. The name of the person hit and killed last night on Highway 178 at Union Avenue in Bakersfield also has not been released. And neither has much other information on how that happened. The California Highway Patrol says the person was hit in the westbound lanes shortly after 9 p.m. No info yet on the driver or whether they stayed and cooperated with police. People who live in the mountain areas like Lebec have been worrying about mountain lions killing pets and farm animals. The Mountain Enterprise newspaper reports that game cam video has captured plenty of video of the animals and that people have demanded help now from Fish and Wildlife. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
They brought him out of the
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
Then he did a show
it's
about
the
Black
Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
He had King of Queens for
you understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Yeah.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376.
He's the guy that got me.
KERNradio.com.
He created it. Yeah. This is from New York.
You've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio.
Yeah, it really is.
Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday. The first Monday in 2026. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN streaming live, KERNradio.com. Coming to the bottom of the hour, a horrible local story that I'm sure you've heard. A young 22-year-old boy, and I consider him a boy, trying to get involved in a robbery, and it ends tragically. We'll unpack that for you. And then in the 5, we're going to spend an entire half an hour talking about the National Football League. The season is over, and the Raiders are officially the worst team in NFL. And I had a lot of time to think about it, and I'm not sure about Fernando. I'm not so sure. The good news is Pete is gone. It's an ugly Black Monday for 3 coaches, including Tug McGraw's grandson, or Tim McGraw's grandson. I guess it would be Tug. No, wait. No, forget Tug McGraw. Tim McCarver. Tim McCarver's grandson. You guys remember that story? We were trying to figure out why Kevin Stepanski hated Shedeur Sanders, and it came to light that in '92, Deion Sanders was throwing water on Tim McCarver because he was criticizing Deion for playing baseball and football and basically letting one of his teams down by doing both. So when the Braves won the pennant, Dion kept throwing water all over Tim McCarver. And there's the famous quote from McCarver, you're a big man, huh, Dion? Well, Tim McCarver had a 10-year-old grandson who grew up to be the Cleveland Browns head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Now, whether that's the reason that he hated Shador, we'll never know because he too got fired. We'll get into that. Plus, we'll talk about the playoff matchups and talk about who will the Raiders draft, and is Max Crosby really on the trading block, and is Brian Flores, as is being expected or being rumored, the next Raider head coach? And I wouldn't have a problem with that. But it's Monday.
Get your motor running.
Head out on the highway. Cathy's looking for adventure. Professor Cathy Abernathy, thanks for filling in for us, Professor.
Last week, yeah, it was. Whoa, sorry.
Unfortunately, Mr. Bentley, why didn't Bentley want to be on YouTube?
He just acted not to do it. He never really gave me a reason.
I was going to have a contest to see who got the most views.
How'd I do? Probably not very well.
Don't tell me. It's between you and Teresa.
Yeah, she had an interest. I didn't hear it all, but she does a different take on things. I mean, it was interesting. It was health related, and so yeah, she's got a very nice style. I think speaking.
She's
very comforting, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and she had Frank Woolridge on. Really nice.
I saw that she did. I didn't hear him.
Really good guy. Mm-hmm. Really good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I listened to some of that as well. How were your holidays?
Nice, kind of quiet, but got it done.
Yeah.
Now taking it all down.
Yeah.
I had a big party you didn't come to, but that's all right. I had plenty of people, but next time.
I had RSVP'd another party, unbeknownst to me, but to your, I don't know whether you like this or not, but I ended up not going to that party either. I swear to God. Ask Chris.
At home.
Ask Chris. My best friend had a party.
Oh, well, I understand that.
And I didn't even go to that.
Oh.
So I didn't.
Wow.
Because it was, I'll explain.
Okay, that's fine.
It was somebody advertised that.
Ralph Bailey's coming.
No, Mike Arier was the host. So I was like, yeah, but there was going to be a bunch of people, and I thought it was going to be a small party. Yeah. It was like advertised on Facebook. And I was like, I'm not going to like a 40-person event. I just wanted something small. So anyway.
I wanted to add another piece of defense, and it's an interesting story, and I don't know if you've heard it about when the Trump military folks got into Nicaragua. But one of your critics, I guess, just now that you were reading, that said, it's all about oil and all this. Well, I don't think he understands.
So what? And I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Well, the oil issue, though, was Friday afternoon. This all happened Saturday, 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Friday afternoon, Maduro is meeting with Chinese officials that were there because China's trying to glom onto Latin America. It's all part of having a strategy, folks. Yep. They're not dumb, and we're not dumb either. So
yeah.
And so he's meeting with them, and they're having tea, and he's speaking Mandarin, trying to speak Mandarin. I mean, that's how cute this thing is.
Maduro is.
Yes, I think the timing is so great. And they've committed $106 billion for him to provide them, the oil and all this stuff. So I mean, they're getting a little irritated with him over something. I don't know all that part, but so there he is. And when they leave, he thanks them. I don't know who got this down, but he thanks them in Mandarin. And then, of course, Trump's folks land in at 1 a.m. and at 2 a.m. they're in their bedroom and take them and they're out. But the Chinese now, they're left. One of their plans was to build a bridge over the Panama Canal and to put a huge airport in Peru for Chinese transportation or whatever. I mean, they're working Latin America, and that's why this is as much as and Trump said this, and we all know this. They have let the oil facilities go to total ruin, and which the Americans had paid for, and so all of that
before we got kicked out.
Yeah, right. They paid it. They came in there, and that's why. And so anyway, it's just so. I think it's funny that he was. And now what are they're left with? And that's why you saw some South American countries, Colombia, because I've been to Colombia. I was there. I was doing some lobbying for the fashion industry, and when you're there, when they were showing me a tour of in Colombia. What city were we in?
Bogota?
No, it's more of it's really the fashion industry. It's actually women's underwear and things industry. But they said, the cops said, over that part of town, you see those hills? I said, yeah, a lot of housing. They don't go there no matter what, because it's controlled by the cartel. I mean, there's just the ownership and the fact that the government has to be so in bed with them is really pathetic. But anyway, but the history of that area, which I think we've all spent a lot of attention on recently, but they were, Venezuela is about the population of California, and they were from like around 1950 and 60, they were one of the top 4 economies of the world. Top 4.
Yeah.
Now, and by 60 and 70, they dropped just because other cities are getting stronger and things. But they were still in the top 20. And then, of course, they turned into Mondavi Jr. or Senior, I guess you could say, and just, spent money, and the economy just crashed, and so much corruption. And so it's just really pathetic what's happened there. And maybe this will help solve it, except when people ask me, well, what's next? And that's hard for me to I don't think any of us know what's next, because you took 2 people out, but you've got all those crumb bums still there, controlling the police, controlling the military, controlling the hospitals, who gets to go in. So I'm just that part, because this Delcy that they talk about, Delcy Rodriguez, she was next in command, if you want to say that. And so she's saying, well, you shouldn't have taken him, but I'm here for you, which...
Yeah, she's talking about, I'd rather have cooperation than war.
Yeah.
She's already capitulating.
But her brother is the Speaker of the Assembly, and he's one of the right hands of Maduro. So where do the loyalties just break by? Nice knowing you. I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing's going to work. So then we looked into the people that ran and got 70% of the vote against him in June of 24, but he still kept control.
Right.
Well, so it's a woman who was very popular, but for some reason Maduro wouldn't allow her to run. So this other man ran, and they won 70% of the vote. It's all voting on one day like we used to do. It's all voting at polling places. She had 600,000 people working 30,000 polling places, they could be witnesses as it was all counted. So, which again, they have a better system than we do today, since we don't know the results for a month. But anyway, I'm just trying to figure how is this going to work, because she's there. Is it going to change? I mean, are the cartels really out? I don't quite understand that, but I know that Rubio and the president, they know what's going on there. But everybody wants the answers now.
Yeah.
And, we just can't do that. But I have this story I just want to share with you folks, and I'm hoping to bring him out here. We had an intern. We put out an Indeed thing for an intern, and this tennis player from Florida, he was in college, University of Miami, in 2016. And so he applied, and he came, and he is, when you finished, he said, my uncle's going to run for mayor of this island, Marguerite Island, which is in Venezuela. It's a population of Bakersfield, pretty much. So it's a big population. But he wasn't part of Maduro. And so he runs, and he wins. They owned a small bed and breakfast. The economy was, crumbling. And they won the campaign within a week of the election. Maduro imprisoned him, his uncle, who ran and won, imprisoned him for winning mayor of this island, and confiscated the family's land, killed one of his uncles. I mean, this is going on all the time.
Yeah.
You can't do anything in that country that they might, do something so horrible to. So the family has fled, and I'd love him to come out and tell the story so people understand how bad things can get when you have socialist, communist, and drug, narcotic wing running your country. So let's hope that this thing does get better, but I'm just not sure who's going to be able to stand up to, are all the cops on every street, are they loyal to who? I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know what you've heard, but
I know nothing. I really don't. I can't look into the future and predict this thing. I don't see it as regime change for the very reasons that you just chronicled, because the regime is still in power. But this is something the presidents have talked about. I read the article from a year ago where Biden put a $25 million bounty on this guy's head.
I think 4 years ago.
Yeah. I put audio out where Biden, as a young man, talked about we've got to go after these guys. The hypocrisy of the Democratic Party is just absolutely mind-boggling, but that helps us in the midterms. Because once again, as I said at the top of the show, the Republicans have put the Democrats in a position where they're defending a thug, where they're defending a guy. I mean, there was really, I've got audio of these young kids in Seattle talking about free Maduro. Like, really?
I don't have a clue.
Really? Do you know who this man is? Do you know what he's done? And I pray that they're just ignorant.
Well, did you hear the new mayor of Seattle? What did she say this morning? It said, I want, well, I guess it's her swearing-in speech. I want to be mayor, but not of a city that wants to make money, of people that want to make money. So where are you going to get the money for people to live? I don't know why that's the agenda. As somebody was saying earlier today, there is a real effort in this country to get to change Western civilization. All the things we believe in, all the things that other countries don't have that we've had, and they're willing to stand up and be elected of a major city in the United States and say things like that, or New York City. Mondani says the same thing. It's going to give away grocery stores, are going to be owned by the government. God, I can't wait, because I saw government-owned grocery stores in the Soviet Union when I was there. It's pathetic.
It is.
It really is.
It can't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And
so
Cathy Hukel is not going to go along with a tax increase on the rich. So all the promises that he made and all the funding that he's promised, the free universal child care and all that, where are you going to get the money?
I don't know if he's going to get it from. So then he calls Trump to say, I don't like what you did.
Yeah. What was that about?
And Trump say, and do I care?
Yeah. Like, who do you think you are? Just so he could go out and say that I called.
Arrogance.
Yeah. Just so he could make a speech off of that phone call. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
The average income in Venezuela is $140 to $200 a month.
Yeah.
And they said most people on average have lost 17 pounds in the last 2 years.
I saw that.
I mean, you can't get medicine.
The mass exodus.
Yeah. And remember, this was a top economy, in the world, top 20 and top 4, and back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So it's really sad, and I don't know. Maybe there must be another plan about how Trump's going to continue to work with them, because I don't think this woman's going to change. I don't know what you think. The new leader that's put herself in, but
I think she'll be much more cooperative than Maduro.
But is she going to keep the drugs going?
I don't think they can. I don't think they humanly can. I really don't. Now that the big eye in the United States is on them, we've blown up, 25 of their little ships, these speed boats that have been coming
fishing
across.
Boats in the middle of the Atlantic.
Boats. Yeah, exactly.
One more salmon and we'll be in.
Yeah, and the idea that we could slip in and do it again. Yeah. I mean, I heard both arguments. I heard in one discussion, the girl on CBS take on Rubio and say, well, the various things that you said. Well, you still have the police and this guy. You've got 4 or 5 people that are still in power, and yet what's going to happen with that? And say, well, wait a minute, you were just telling me it was bad that we went after Maduro. Now you're saying that we should have extended the mission, yes, and gone after 4 or 5 different people in one mission. Make up your mind, So I don't know where it's going to go, but I know it's a better day for Venezuelans. Yeah. I know it's a better day for South America, and it's a better day for us.
And Maduro is going to be sitting in prison. The next meeting or session with the court is March, which will probably be delayed till June, and which still will be next year.
Oh, this will take years.
Yeah.
Years.
But he's going to be living that life and not the life that he was used to, and so that's enough punishment for me as well.
And now that it's become the celebrity detention center in Brooklyn, they talked a lot about it today, because that's where Luigi Mangione is.
Oh, he's there right now.
That's where Maxwell was. That's where Sean Combs is. And so they talked about it's overcrowded, because they went off of Maxwell, who poured her heart out about the experience and how it's overcrowded and how the food is miserable and these guys don't play. And it's good. Let them get a little taste of that.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. It
Now,
really is.
what do you think about our potential vice president of the United States who is not going to run for re-election in Minnesota?
I think he is smarter than I thought he was. He really is. I think he knows the jig is up. I think he knows that we've just touched the tip of the iceberg on the Somali fraud situation in Minnesota. I think he knows it all comes back to him, and there's no way in hell he could get elected dog catcher in the state of Minnesota.
And even if his deal was depending on some of them for donations to his campaign, which is going to be zero. But this and I had to look up this Al-Shabaab, which is a paramilitary group in Somalia. I mean, we've traced the money to them.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't say, well, we're being anti-Somalia. That's what it was organized through, and you have to expose it. But I just thought, this man could have been president if something happened to Harris.
Isn't that frightening? Isn't that frightening?
It really is. And the more you hear him, the weaker. I mean, she did a good job maybe of keeping him quiet, or at least the media didn't show him around much, because my goodness, he's just kind of a silly man is about my definition of him. But
yeah, he's absolutely inconsequential.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, this is Minnesota. This is a state.
It's a beautiful state.
It's a beautiful state, but they're a little goofy.
Leftist, yeah.
They're a little goofy. This is a state that hired to run their state a former WWE wrestler.
That's right.
What was his name? Jesse Ventura?
Yeah.
It wasn't Wisconsin,
actually,
it was Minnesota. Okay.
That was Minnesota.
Okay.
It was Minnesota.
Okay.
And he was a bright guy. He was able to pull up, but he was no Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was no John Fetterman. He was ridiculous. He was absolutely ridiculous. So,
yeah, they are different there. I don't know how leftist it's gone, but it's very dangerous. And
it hasn't been the same since Hubert Humphrey.
Well, and even
think of the losers that come out of Minnesota
right now.
Walter Mondale with his 49-1 defeat to Ronald Reagan. At least he won his home state that Al Gore can't claim.
Did McGovern win South Dakota? Did he? He must have, because it's only 22 people voting there. But did he? Who,
Humphrey?
No, McGovern.
Oh, McGovern?
South Dakota.
Yes. I think Gore is the only one to lose his home state. Can you believe that? And it would have been the difference. And it's justified.
It would have been the difference?
Yes. If he had won Tennessee.
Oh, because it was so close. Yeah,
he would have won that election. He would absolutely. In fact, I just for whatever reason, saw the concession speech that Al gave, and he tried to be funny, and it was really sad. Yeah, it was really sad. It was December because it was the anniversary. I think that's why I was watching. It was like December, and I forgot how long we went out without a president. It was like mid-December. I think it was either the 19th that he finally.
When they did the recount in Florida, and then months later, because then people criticized that. Months later, the Washington Post did their own recount. They proved the same thing. So we we went through a lot with that, and that's pretty dangerous when you're trying to form an administration, by January 20, and you don't know if you're going to be in or not.
I'm surprised, talking with Cathy Abernathy, as we do every Monday, we can end on this, unless you've got something, that you haven't talked about what's going on in Georgia. The fact that they proved that there was some problems that went down in Georgia. Now, it didn't deal with machines, but they signed off on a lot of ballots that were invalid in the hundreds of thousands. Did you see this story at all during the holidays?
I thought I did, but I'm trying to remember what was not right on the paper that they decided to waive.
I was assuming you on top of this.
I saw the signatures. Well, I think it's
they weren't signed off or something.
I don't know if it's a sign off of the polling place person.
Yes, I think that's what it was.
And I think they decided rather than blame the staff of the elections department, they just better let it go through. I don't know.
And did you see Fonnie Willis go up against the Georgia Congressional Committee again?
Oh, what'd she do?
Oh my God,
she's a piece.
She really is. She showed up in a white fur coat and a white Givenchy deal. I mean, she showed up just like, I don't give a damn. And she was just as ornery and as combative, and she wouldn't answer the questions, and she'd answer with, well, Cathy Abernathy, I know you're running for Senate in November, and that's what this is really all about. It was vintage Bonnie Willis.
Yeah.
It really was. And how she still denies the relationship with the man that she paid for,
right.
Who was making, I don't even know if we talked about this during the day. You know, he was booking 60 hours a week.
Yeah, and then he was off with her, and then she'd pay hotel
their
expenses
yes.
when they traveled, and yet she said they weren't involved or something.
Yeah. It was.
Boy, a lot of Georgia had that was a rough few months.
Yes,
that was going on for Georgia.
Was.
I don't think they appreciated the publicity because they have escaped that mostly.
Yeah.
But
I'll end with this. Any new laws that you have problems with? I'm going to talk about that at 5:30. There's some good ones. There's some bad ones, obviously. 800 new legislation.
Yeah, from Newsom and that legislature up there. Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Well, I saw a judge just in San Diego just threw out that this business that a school district can't tell the parents about the sex change if the kid wants it, and he threw that out.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. You'd think we have to go to court to do that. You know, your kid's 10 years old and school knows something very personal about your child that they don't want to tell you.
Yeah. And I've been in school board meetings here where local teachers argue for that. And it's like, how could you have raised a child and believed that anyone should keep anything about your own child from you, the biological parent? It just makes no sense.
Well, it's like not telling the parent the kid's grade. The kid doesn't want, don't tell my dad, don't tell my dad. Well, you know, they're equating all of that with this and that the parent's going to disown them or something. And you don't hear too many stories about parents disowning 10-year-olds. So that's hard to overcome. But anyway, exciting times internationally right now. We'll have to see day by day. It's going to
be a very interesting year with the midterms just months away. Cathy Abernathy, everybody. Quick time out. More TRBS. I would stick around if I you. And what is up with Marjorie Taylor Greene?
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
She's going back on The View this week.
With SRN News,
exactly.
I'm Keith
and that's
Peters
why they love
in
her
Washington.
now.
Deposed Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro declares himself innocent and a decent man as he pleads not guilty to federal drug trafficking charges. Maduro is making his first appearance in an American courtroom on the narco-terrorism charges the Trump administration used to justify capturing him and bringing him to New York.
Yeah.
The U.S. has taken the unprecedented step of dropping the number of vaccines it recommends for every child, leaving other immunizations such as flu shots open to families to choose, but without real clear guidance. Officials say the overhaul to the federal vaccine schedule announced Monday won't result in any families losing access or insurance coverage for vaccines. On Wall Street, the Dow by 594 points. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. You may have heard about the man shot and killed by officers with Bakersfield Police Friday night on El Alisol Street when they say he threatened them and family members with a gun. Now police say body cam video may be released as the investigation allows. The officers are on administrative leave. A person was hit and killed Sunday night on Highway 178 near Union Avenue, says the California Highway Patrol. It happened just after 9. No name has been released. People in the Kern County mountains are dealing with mountain lion attacks on pets and livestock, reports the Mountain Enterprise newspaper. Some of them have been asking for help from Fish and Wildlife after getting game cam video of the animals. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters.
At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Oh, our favorite DUI gal got to spend her birthday in jail, and I couldn't be even more excited. Miss Madison Williams, I hope you enjoyed your birthday in jail. I hope you enjoyed Christmas in jail. And I truly do hope, like you have claimed, to have found God. Please, please get some help.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1.
Similar to our dancing Santa. No. I ordered them like the middle of the month, like the 13th, 14th.
Yeah, you ain't gonna see that stuff till February.
Are you serious?
Oh, probably. It's
No,
the
it
holiday
doesn't.
season. They don't slow down on their package deliveries for at least 2 weeks after.
No, it doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. And then I got for Christmas, I got this really cool golf thing where you can swing on a mat and it shows up on your television. You can hook it up on your television.
Oh, so it's like a simulated swing or whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
I have no room.
Of course.
And I talked about getting rid of my couch, but I was going to replace it with a love seat. But now I'm thinking about just dumping the couch. I still don't think I'll have enough room though. Between my dining room and my living room are like right together. And I don't think I can make a full swing in my living room in front of the 65. And there's damn sure no room in my bedroom. It's too bad too, because it's a really cool deal where you swing and it shows up where you go and it sets up a golf course for you. It's really, really cool. But I just don't think I have enough room. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to get that couch out of my living room. I need at least 2 other people. So Mike Arier, Chris Zucchini, if you're listening, I almost asked Chris when we were playing golf, but I was like, no, we're having a wonderful time. I don't want to ruin it. By doing that. And then we went up to Red Pepper and ate some nachos. It was really good. I haven't been to Red Pepper since they've gone under the new ownership. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Anything left on the board?
Yeah, we got a couple here.
What do you got?
I'm a Trump supporter, and I wish Trump would have left out the oil part of his speech when he announced what had happened.
Why? Why not? To the victor go the spoils. I don't have a problem. And as Cathy chronicled, as we talked about at the top of the show, they were funneling this oil to Russia and China and to Iran. They were in bed with Iran. This guy is a crook. He is a killer. He is a dope dealer. And I don't care if it flies in the face of what he did with the Honduran leader, who was in fact a drug dealer, a convicted drug dealer. I don't care. I deal with the here and now. And the here and now is that the region is better off, period. And if Democrats want to take this to November and support Maduro and criticize his abdication, go right ahead. go right ahead, because I think in the Midwest, in the Bible Belt, and throughout the red states of this country, most people are in favor of this. And I think the more they learn, the more they'll realize that this was a positive action, and very similar to what most presidents have done. Coach Don Kessler, I expected to hear from him in the 5 when I start talking about my Super Bowl teams.
He was trying to talk to you in the 3, but we ran out of time for him.
If you need help with that couch, I got a flatbed trailer.
Oh, there you go.
I don't want to take it anywhere. I want to take it to my alley. I wouldn't pawn this thing off. You know how old this thing is? I lived with Mike Arrier from 2000. What was the Raiders Super Bowl year when we lost to Tampa Bay? Because that was an infamous day in the Arrier home. 03, 02 season, 02 season, 03 Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
I lived with Mike Arrier from 2001 to about 2004, and moved out in 2004, and he gave me his couch in 2004. So at minimum, let's say he bought it in 2000, which he did not. At minimum, that couch is 25, 26 years old. So I wouldn't pawn it off on anybody. When you lay on it, you can feel the wood in the middle of your back. More Coach Kessler. Hey, no worries, I'll take it to the dump for you. I'm going anyways this week. Don't.
This is a good
I was going to say, don't tempt me, Coach. I'll take you up on this. I got to get this thing out of my house. If not for the golf, if for just maybe to get rid of I've got like a velvet chair that Lori gave me that no one sits in. And I'm just thinking about putting like a 2-seater love seat. Love seat, love couch, love seat.
Love seat, yeah.
Love seat. Put a little love seat in there. Because my living room just isn't that big. And I got the 65, and I got this big, it rolls out. That it's just an absolute eyesore. Just got to get it out of there. God, I think I could make it. I could swing the clock. Anyway. What else you got?
Too funny, Ralph. Senior listeners have Bailey derangement syndrome. All of your haters crack me up.
Yeah, it is amazing that I have more liberal Democrats that call and text the show than I do supporters, which is fine. I don't want, to hear you guys. I'd rather talk to them, to be honest, than to hear you guys echo what I'm saying and me preach to the choir. I just always find it interesting when people accuse me of pandering to the audience, when I am by far the most vocal not anti-Trump, but the biggest critic of the president. In fact, I was on Facebook. I was going to read some of the things I put on Facebook. Somebody wrote on Facebook, and I went down, laying around the house, not doing anything, bored out of my mind, but loving it. I wasn't lonely. I wasn't like bored, like, oh, I wish I had something to do. No, I was good. I was good. Catching up on old movies and just laying around. I didn't do much in LA either. Took the boy to Tommy's. I took him to see a movie. Went to dinner with my mom. I didn't do much, but just laying around and watching all these videos. And if you guys want to hold on to that position, you just go right ahead. Just go right ahead. One more. What else you got?
Ralph, Bakersfield resident and Latina singer from Venezuela, Sasha Rist, posted a good description on Instagram of what life was like under Maduro that she escaped at age 17. It's worth looking at. It shows people celebrating.
Oh, absolutely. Venezuelans are absolutely ecstatic. Absolutely ecstatic. It's just Trump derangement syndrome. Like I said, I didn't finish the story, but I was on Facebook, and a woman said that all Trump supporters are bigots, and bigots love bigots. And I just jumped in and said, that's about as dumb a thing as I've ever heard. And do you know that a woman accused me of being crooked because I said, I'm pretty well known as a guy who has critiqued the president And I find some of the things that he says and does absolutely abhorrent. However, there are 3 reasons why I voted for him 3 times. One of the reasons is Hillary Clinton. One of the reasons is Joe Biden. And the third reason is Kamala Harris. And it's not even close. It's not even close. And this woman accused me of being crooked because I said that the Clintons have been crooked since Arkansas. And all their dealings, just coincidentally, from the time they were in Arkansas until the time they left the White House, they're filled with dead people. Like people all around them. That Jim McDougal died mysteriously in prison. Ron Jackson, who's in a plane crash, they discovered there was a bullet hole in his skull after a plane crash. I forget the guy that killed himself in the park. In a park? Have you ever heard of that? Somebody leaving their office or leaving their home and going to a park and shooting themselves up against the base of a tree? Somebody knows who I'm talking about. I want to say Hugh. I can't remember. But so this woman on Facebook said something to the effect, I swear it's true. I can't find it right now on Facebook. But she said, when you die, you should be buried with a corkscrew. You're so crooked. And I was like, really? Is that where we are? Where we disagree politically? That if I don't think like you do, that I should die with a corkscrew? Robbie Pratt, Vince Foster. Thank you, Robbie. Robbie Pratt, historical genius. Vince Foster, who had the goods on Hillary like that, on both him and Clinton, on Bill, going all the way back to Arkansas. And he mysteriously dies in a park. They're as crooked as a hanger. But the point is that we can't even disagree without some woman who couldn't pick me out in a lineup claiming that somehow I'm crooked and that and alluding to my death. Like, really? Okay. All right. I'm not rooting for your death, ma'am. I really am not. But I should be buried with a corkscrew. I'm so crooked. Life in the 21st century. Let's go ahead and take a break. I can't wait till we get into the 5. I almost led with it. Football. We're doing the whole segment. Bob Lewis is gone. I mean, things have changed around here. God, I got a big mouth.
Yeah, I can't save you on this one. I'm sorry.
Everybody needs an editor.
Yeah.
Who cares? But things have changed around here. I used to get in trouble when we talk about sports. We're going to spend the first half hour talking about Black Monday. Have there been any other firings?
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Who's the 3 that you're referring to?
Raheem got fired.
Okay, so that's why. So yes, you're missing one then. Jonathan Gannon from Arizona got fired this morning as well.
Jonathan Gannon got fired.
Yes.
Pete got fired.
Yes. And everybody's favorite.
Stefanski.
Yes.
Got fired.
From what I understand, Cincinnati's coach is safe.
Zach Taylor is safe?
Yeah, Zach Taylor is safe. The Jets head coach is safe.
Did you see what Zach Taylor's all pissed about?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't get it.
I really don't either.
Get over it. It was a historic moment.
They have stopped games in every sport.
Well, honestly,
when Kareem beat whoever was second at the time, they stopped the game. When LeBron topped Kareem, they stopped the game. But Zach Taylor is pissed off because in a meaningless end of the season game, they stopped the game to highlight Miles Davis, great trumpet, Miles
Morales.
I can't come up with another Miles.
I couldn't either. Miles Teller.
Ooh, nice. And now there's another conspiracy. They're saying that Joe Burrows did don't tell me, a Brett Favre, which just isn't true. Yeah, it looks like he falls to the ground because Miles is coming, but nobody pays attention to the other linebacker who's on the other side that had he tried to escape, would have killed him. Yeah, he laid down because he was about to get drilled. People just hate just to hate. It's absolutely remarkable. It really is. As if this guy is some like illegitimate scrub who just came along and set the NFL sack record. Which, you know, for us old folks, and then they're saying, well, it was a 7. And I heard this from Strahan. Well, they did it in 17. I did it in 16. Well, then if that's the case, then shut up. OJ's the greatest running back because he did it in 14 games. Well, everybody else did it in 16 games. Don't give me this nonsense. It is what it is. Babe Ruth did his stuff in 154 games. Everybody else did it in 162. A record is a record is a record. Get over yourselves. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday. Right here on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1.
You want to do Messmaker?
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, well, first of all, it's Tuesday. That means the triumphant return of Lois Henry from sjbwater.org. Elena Rusk will be joining us to tell us how much rain we got, and we'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A new year with one of our favorite sponsors and one of the finest businesses in all of Kern County, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. I've told you all the smartest financial move I've ever made in my life is being associated with Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. I've even turned fellow employees on to Daniel, and they're very excited to be a client as well. And I'm sure most of you know just how important Daniel is to the program. He appears on the show every Thursday at 4:30, explaining the economics, the politics, and how it all impacts you. And again, if retirement is in the near future, call Daniel today at 395-9400, 395-9400, and his office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWAE, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Right.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to
late this week.
Ooh.
Yeah. I drank, for some reason, because I didn't have any cocktails. So I drank ginger ale when I was in Los Angeles. That's all I drank. Ginger ale and water. And then I had oxtails. I had black eyed peas. Oh, and then I had to turn in my black card.
Again? For what?
It's weird. Like, I'll post who's going to come on the show. Muhammad Ali is going to be on the program, and I'll get 5 views.
Yeah.
But if I say something like, do you eat black eyed peas on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? I get 100 comments and 75 likes. And I had to turn in my black card because I forgot. It's obvious. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I honestly have heard this in passing, but I have no idea. It's the same thing with the grapes thing. This is new to me.
I don't know the grape thing. But
apparently, like if you get 12 green grapes and eat them under a table, it's supposed to be like good luck for the entire year.
That's absurd. No, the black eyed peas is a very cultural, very Southern. Another mistake that I make that I often make, where I assume, because it's what I experienced growing up in the South during Easter and the summers of my childhood, that it's a black thing as opposed to a Southern. I thought grits was a black thing for years till I was like an adult, but it's a Southern thing. It's not a black thing. And the black eyed peas is culturally a Southern thing that is on New Year's Day. And what I don't understand is, like, don't you guys read Facebook? So after like the 45th person says during the day, why does the 46th person have to say during the day? But everybody's got their little comments, and I apologize for not knowing that. But I did have black eyed peas. In fact, my neighbor Nick and his new wife Olivia invited me upstairs on New Year's Day, and I said, so weird. I literally am eating black eyed peas as we speak. Ooh, I had oxtails and black eyed peas and my mother's homemade mashed potatoes. And now I own Tupperware for the first time, and I can't remember when. But she sent me home with a bunch of stuff, and I had banana pudding. My A1C is going to be out the roof. It really is. It's not good. I could fake it and like start ingesting cinnamon, but I don't want to do that. I want to see what it is. I don't know if that's naturally, but did you know that cinnamon, particularly if you ingest it? Because that's what I used to do. When my A1C was ridiculous, I would ingest cinnamon purely, powder, just take it with water. Boy.
Yeah, that's actually a challenge now. Nobody can get a whole spoonful of cinnamon down.
Oh, I could do it
without
easily.
Water.
I can do it easily.
Really?
Easily. I used to take cinnamon every single morning. When my A1C was in the 7s, I was taking cinnamon every single morning. And just take it. I can take a big tablespoon. What's the biggest?
Tablespoon.
Tablespoon? Get a big old tablespoon. Well, the key is to moist it in your mouth. And swallow it.
Yeah, I think that's what people misunderstand is they go in thinking it'll be easy just to eat or
No, it's
swallow right away.
extremely dry.
Yeah.
And if you don't moisten it before you swallow, you'll choke. You literally choke.
Yeah, and that's what people do is that they try to just swallow it quickly thinking it's like a soda, and it's not.
Yeah, I remember somebody challenged me once, not knowing, and I did it, and they were like, they damn near passed out.
It was probably because of, well, how long ago was the challenge? Because it was probably
years ago.
Yeah, it's probably because of the internet thing or something, because this has been a challenge for years.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I can do it like that. We'll leave a couple text messages, and then let's talk a little football.
Let Cathy know that I admired her for keeping her cool this morning during her appearance on KGET.
You know, I forgot to watch that. She told me about it. And I watched 17 this morning, but didn't watch the entire show. The interview they do is always like at 6:40. They're on from 5 to 7. And it's like one of the last segments. And, you know, their news, and I'm not speaking out of school, their 5 o'clock hour is essentially their 6 o'clock hour. They just kind of rerun. They don't even rewrite some of the leads, well, anyway. So once I get through the second cycle of the news, I normally stay to the interview because a lot of times it's Sheriff Youngblood or it's outgoing Chief Terry. They have some great interviews, but I didn't see it today. And she even told me about it. I forgot to watch it. But I saw a bite of what she said on the noon show. But I figured, why do I need to watch it when she's going to be in here for a full 30 minutes? One more. Let's get into the 5.
As a Mexican American, I would love for Trump to do what he did in Venezuela to Mexico and put in all the American-raised presidents and politicians to clean up that country and get rid of all of the corruption and cartels.
Well, I mean, I'm not big on regime change. I don't understand why the president did this now, what the motivation was beyond the oil, beyond getting rid of a horrible despot and putting a dent and sending a message throughout Central and South America. I don't think you're going to see regime change, but I think you'll see a different attitude and a different sense of, oh my God, I could be next kind of a thing. I can't see American boots in South America. I just don't see that. But Colombia has to be nervous. I think Mexico has to be nervous. I think a lot of those countries have to be extremely worried right now. And Democrats have been talking about bringing down Maduro for years and years and years. And again, had it been anybody but Trump, the Democrats would not have a problem with this. We head into the final hour of the broadcast. We'll talk about football for the first half hour. Then we'll get into the 2026 new laws at the bottom of the hour.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in
What's
Washington.
going on, boy?
The leaders of Denmark and Greenland are urging President Trump to stop threatening to take over Greenland. White House correspondent Frank Clugston reports.
After announcing over the weekend that the U.S. would run Venezuela after removing its president, Donald Trump reiterated his wish to take control of Greenland. He told reporters, quote, "We need Greenland from a national security situation." Denmark's prime minister said a U.S. takeover makes absolutely no sense and that America has no right to annex any of the 3 countries in the Danish kingdom. Greg Clugston, Washington.
45 states are reporting higher than normal flu activity through the week of Christmas.
The higher numbers appear to be driven by the type of flu that's been spreading. One type of the flu virus, called H3N2, historically has caused the most hospitalizations and deaths in older people. More than 90% of the H3N2 infections analyzed were a new version that differs from the strain in this year's flu shots. Flu season usually peaks by February. The CDC estimates there have been at least 11 million illnesses, 120,000 hospitalizations, and 5,000 deaths from the flu so far this season. I'm Ed Donahue.
In Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez has become the country's interim president.
Rodriguez was part of a group of senior officials in Maduro's administration that now appears to control Venezuela and had previously overseen much of Venezuela's oil-dependent economy and its intelligence service.
That's correspondent Luke Garrett reporting. Meanwhile, Maduro and his wife were in court in New York today, accused of narco-terrorism. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 594 points. The S&P advanced 43. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com. From the KERN newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The shooting at Foods Company was the cause of a robbery, say police. I'm Chris Davis. Now, two 17-year-olds believed to be the robbers and one to be the shooter have been arrested, says Bakersfield PD. That happened Friday night at the store on White Lane. Police now say that a robbery happened inside the store, and the victim was one of two people who followed the teenagers out into the parking lot, and that one of the people arrested pulled a gun and shot at both people and hit one, killing that person. Those two teenagers were booked into the juvenile facility, and their names not released. You may get to see more about why officers with the Bakersfield Police Department felt it was necessary to shoot a man Friday night at a house on El Arisal Street when they say he was armed and threatening family members and police. The department says they will release body cam video of the incident as the investigation allows. That man died at the scene while officers were trying to save his life with CPR, and the officers involved are on administrative leave. A person was hit and killed on Highway 178 in Bakersfield, says the Highway Patrol. That happened last night just after 9 in the westbound lane. That was near Union Avenue. The Highway Patrol has not released much else about what happened, including why that person was in the highway or any info about the driver or vehicle or the victim's name. Mountain lions have become an increasing problem for people who live in the mountains in Kern County, reports the Mountain Enterprise newspaper, and many of them want the county's fish and wildlife personnel to help them out. Some of those people have game cam videos of the mountain lions attacking pets and livestock. California's average price for gas has gone down a couple of cents and is now $4.18, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
And then after the double triple, I go get in.
The army where you shoot them a mile away, you got to get a post like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice side.
That's why I was so happy with the 91.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday, our first day of the new year, our first show of the new year. Want to welcome everybody back. And again, send our great thanks to our fill-in hosts, Cathy Abernathy, Teresa Goldner, Cassie Biddle, and Rick Bentley. All did a spectacular job. And since Mr. Bentley did not go on YouTube, I can't divulge who got the greatest viewership. But we had a great time and want to thank everybody who filled in. I guess I'm a DEI hire, since most of the people that I had fill in were women. And I guess I'm a bigot since none of the hosts were African American. But in the meantime, the season is over. It's time for dead presidents, as Lester Hayes used to say, the immortal cornerback for the Oakland and Los Angeles Raiders, who has a rule after him. Do you know what rule Lester Hayes has in his name? Several players have rules after the name. Who else has rules?
The Rooney Rule, technically, but that's not
The
a player.
Rooney Rule, that's an owner. There is the Deacon Jones Rule, where they outlawed slapping of the helmet. I can remember doing that in Pop Warner. I really can. I played defensive tackle in Pop Warner when I was in 6th grade. I damn sure, coming off the ball, my first move was slap a guy on the helmet, and I don't care who you are, you're going to move to your right. And I would just swim and get around, and little 110-pound Ralph Bailey was the sack leader on the Suburban Hornets.
I had a buddy who was a Samoan kid who played with me in freshman football, and he would have the coach club up his non-snapping hand because he was our center, and he would use that to club people's face mask and head before.
There are a bunch of basketball rules that were changed for players. There's the Kareem rule or the Lou Alcindor rule, where they outlawed dunking in the early part of my childhood. Bill Walton never got to dunk in college because of Lou Alcindor. There's the free throw line rule because of Wilt Chamberlain, where you have to stay on the line. Wilt used to run from the key and try to slam dunk it. There are all kind of rules that they made. They tightened up the lane because of Kareem. They did a bunch of things. But in football, I can't remember. There's several football rules named after certain players. They were just talking about this. But it was a crazy weekend of football. It really was. And this is why football is by far, it's not even close, the most viewed sport in all of sports. I mean, the Pittsburgh game last night against the Ravens was remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And it's just so crazy how life can change. I mean, the Steelers miss an extra point, and then the Ravens, after on a 4th and 7 play that should have never happened, where Lamar Jackson somehow squeezes between two guys, and then Lively, is it Lively or Likely? Lively? Likely makes an unbelievable catch to get them in field goal position. Steeler fans are about to call for Mike Tomlin's firing, and the kid misses it by 15 yards. By 15 yards. And the reason I say life is so weird, because if the Steelers lose that game, there are so many stories that we're talking about today. Why in the world did Aaron Rodgers use all 3 timeouts on offensive plays? With like 5 minutes left, they had no timeouts. I'm just like one he took with like 12 minutes to go. Then another one he took with like 8 minutes to go. Then the final one was like 5:45 left in the game. And they have no timeouts. And it's a close game. And then who's the kid from the Rams? Their D-back, number 5. Jalen Ramsey. Did you see how I watched a couple of sports shows this morning because I knew I was going to take a long time talking about this. They're accusing him of throwing the game. That on those plays where was it Flowers got wide open, Ramsey just let him go by. There were like 3 or 4 plays where it's like, that ain't Jalen Ramsey. But they win the game, so nobody's talking about it. It's just crazy how different calls, different plays. Nick Sirianni sitting his players and absolutely blowing an opportunity to take on a weak Green Bay team. Now instead, who are they playing? The 49ers?
No, I'm sorry.
Or the Bears?
No, I believe they have the Rams.
I'll tell you who they got. Right here, I wrote it down. I'll tell you who it is. It's LA, New England, Bills, Jacksonville, Texans, Pittsburgh, and then Green Bay, Chicago, Niners at Philly, and Rams at Carolina. And instead of playing San Francisco, who is likely to beat Philly, although I don't know about that. They look mighty ordinary the other day. They look
really back and forth
mighty
with them.
ordinary. I think there are about 3 or 4 teams that can win the championship, and I think New England, crazy enough, is one of them. I really do. I don't trust the Chargers. I don't trust Justin. I don't trust their defense. And I think it's bad when you lay off players in football. I just think it's bad. They did it. The Phillies did it. They did it last year too, and they won the championship. But I just think that's a mistake. And the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about and to hear from you all as Raider fans, I assume some of you are, is I'm not sold on Mendoza. I'm really not. I'm really, really not. Because I just don't think that he is the savior. And I think you can get a lot of loot for a first-round pick. And I think if let's say we draft Mendoza, well, we still have a defensive problem. We still have an offensive line problem. And I only got to see Mendoza play maybe 3 or 4 times. But the thing that stuck out to me is that 7 out of 10 times, he has an absolutely impeccable pocket. I mean, he's pumping the ball. He's patting the ball. He's checking down to his 3rd and 4th receiver. That ain't going to happen in the NFL, and it certainly ain't going to happen in Las Vegas, where he's going to have about 2.5 seconds to throw the football, and that makes all the difference in the world, and that makes you an absolutely different player. You know, it's the famous words of Bill Parcells talking to Jim Burt when he was a young rookie in the 80s. That ain't Michigan State down there, son. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, it ain't Iowa. And there's another, and I have to admit and concede that I'm influenced by the internet. And I'm watching one of these podcast guys who I've never heard of, never seen before. And yet he made a very, very strong case where he put up the Indiana schedule, and he pointed to the wins, and he pointed to the games where Mendoza had huge games, and they're playing Bakersfield College and West LA and Pierce. And when he played big schools, he played okay, but they beat up. They had a very easy schedule, did Indiana. Now, they played some tough teams coming down the stretch, and they had a great game the other night, but here's the deal. It's not about getting first-round picks, because if that were the case, the Raiders would be competitive. You know, everybody talks about the Herschel Walker trade as one of the most lopsided trades ever, where Jimmy Johnson, after 1 year with Herschel Walker, sent him to Minnesota for a bunch of draft picks. And at the time, people thought that Jimmy Johnson was nuts. They pointed out that very few college coaches have made the transition to the NFL. They were coming off a 1-15 season. Aikman was overrated, blah, 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 blah. And the only thing that made that team a Super Bowl team wasn't the fact that they had a bunch of draft picks. It was that Jimmy hit on those draft picks. Everybody said Emmitt Smith was too small. Everybody said that Nate Newt was too old, and too big, and too fat. Could never play guard. And all the picks they made, Tony Casillas and all the draft picks they made, nobody believed in these guys, and yet they all panned out. And what is going on, I think, in the 21st century is football has become so complex and so complicated and so sophisticated that if you don't have a solid organization, you can't win. Because you're going to lose and you're going to have first-round picks. But as we've discovered with the Raiders, we just don't hit. We just don't. We've hit, I think, maybe 4 times, maybe 5 times in the last 10 years. And I'm including Khalil Mack in that. I'm including Max Crosby in that. I'll even throw in Genty. I'm not giving up on that kid yet. And I'll include Michael Bowers in that. But beyond that, is Mendoza going to come in here and really change this organization? But at the same time, and I think two things can be true, you got to solve the quarterback position. You absolutely do. If you don't draft Mendoza, then what? Another year of Geno? No. And I think it's been great to see these backups at the end of the season so you can see the discrepancy between Johnson and their starter, or who else didn't start? Who's the kid that everybody was screaming for in
Trey Lance?
No, the other kid.
Quinn Ewers?
Green Bay.
Oh, Malik Willis didn't play.
Yeah, but no, where am I? Who said in McKiker? What is
Oh, JJ McCarthy?
No, I like JJ McCarthy. God dang it. Who am I talking about? Starts M. I'll look it up. But he played miserably. And everybody's been calling for him. There is a gargantuan difference between a backup and a starter. So you're saying, well, then what? What are you saying, Ralph? I'm saying, you're the sports guy. I think you almost have to draft Mendoza. Unless you can get 2 firsts and maybe a second.
Hear me out on this, because I've been saying the same thing you're saying, not to draft Mendoza because your offensive line ain't good enough to keep him upright, so you wouldn't be doing him any good drafting him. But
what are you going to do?
Trade back with the Jets. Trade with the Jets, give them the first overall pick so they can take whatever quarterback they want. Take all the first-round draft picks you can from them because you know they got a ton of them. And just use those to build an offensive line. Maybe find a quarterback later in the first round if you want.
Like who?
Ty Simpson.
Cousins? No. Ty Simpson?
Ty Simpson from Alabama will be up there. Trust me, it'll be an opportunity. There's going to be other opportunities, but I say trade back and gain more draft capital because that's what you need right now. Unless you can address all of this in free agency, like the Braves did.
No, you can't.
And that's what I'm saying. You guys have got a lot of cap space right now, but you need to build an offensive line before any rookie quarterback is going to be good for you.
And you can get that in the draft.
Yeah.
You can get that in the second round.
That's what I'm saying.
So
if you trade backwards.
You look at some of the NFL linemen, most of them are second, third, fourth round draft picks. They really are. Everybody wants skill position players up front, unless you're like Kansas City and you've got a top 10 pick, which they do, which I don't understand how they pull that up. I think they're drafting like 9th. But the good news is that Pete Carroll is gone, and it's a matter of hitting that first pick, and it's a matter of even if we trade down and get more draft picks, do we have the competence to make the right picks? That's the issue. And we're stuck with a really crappy organization. And I just think that the biggest mistake we ever made in the recent history, I think, was getting rid of Mike Mayock. I really do. I think he's the best general manager we've had in 10 or 15 years. And he was just cursed. The guy never was able to get off the ground. And you know who cursed him, right? Do you remember? Antonio Brown.
Oh, it's true.
Here you are. You're a first-time general manager, and your guy is late because he burned his feet in a cryogenic booth. Okay, so he's late for training camp. Fine. He shows up and he won't wear a helmet because he doesn't like the helmet they have for him. So we can't even see him on the field. And then he curses out the general manager on the field. And you just can't even get started. You know who's reemerging? Who was all over the internet over the holidays? John Gruden. And I think that's because he got a huge, huge judgment in his lawsuit against the NFL. He's never going to coach again. And I think John Gruden has finally settled in with that and is good with that. And now companies are asking him to come on podcasts and different shows. But he's about to blow up the NFL. He really, really is. And the other story that I heard over the holidays, unrelated to football, but to sports, What is the worst news as we get ready for pitchers and catchers to show up at spring training in February?
That the World Baseball Classic is in between there?
No.
I'm not sure then.
2 words. Work stoppage. These fellas are about to go on strike. Is a gargantuan rumor. I've heard some sports writers say that a work stoppage is absolutely inevitable. Take a quick time out. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. Wrap this thing up on a Monday. Our debut broadcast in the Atom 2026. In Roman numerals, that would be MM XXV1.
Yes.
MM XXV1.
Yeah.
2026. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday on January V. Right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show 2026 underway, and we are going to be breaking down everything having to do with Venezuela, with Tim Walz dropping out as Minnesota governor, so many more big stories for us to chase. We're back with you in the catbird seat. Can't wait to get rolling on 2026. Make sure you don't miss it. Tuesday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Norma Diaz, owner of La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream.
Hi, I'm Norma Diaz from La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream, and I'm a client and friend of Paul Sheldon. I've known Paul for many, many years, and my parents happened to be his first clients. So, of course, I called Paul and immediately felt this peace come over me, knowing that I didn't have to freak out about making a big decision. His knowledge about Medicare and your health insurance needs are beyond compare, and I was taken care of immediately by his wonderful staff. He knew everything that I needed and what I wouldn't need, so I was pretty much in and out of there in record time. If you're getting to that age or you're going to be needing to know about Medicare, then he's the one to call. He will totally help you out and get you pointed in the right direction. You're going to leave there feeling a great accomplishment and no concerns. And even if you have questions later, his staff can help you out. Those feelings are just priceless to me. So call Paul. You'll be glad you did.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey, are you driving high right now? You might be, because a whole lot of people do. They say marijuana makes them a better driver, more careful, more focused. That's probably what the guy who killed a 4-year-old thought. And now, he's in prison. You see, no matter what you tell yourself, if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, Just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Tanner McKee is who I was talking about. The Eagles backup. When the Eagles fans were booing, what's his name, Jalen?
Yeah,
and saying the McKee should come in. Okay. See how that worked out for you. He was 21 of 40, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks, had a 68.5 passing rating, and was god-awful. And on the last play, even had a guy open where at least he could have fought for the ball, and he threw it out of bounds. There is a vast discrepancy between backups and starters. You want to know how bad the Raiders were last year?
Sure.
We lost in double. How many times do you think we lost double digits?
5.
10 times.
Oh.
Did you get black-eyed peas and hawks for New Year's? Really, Anthony? That's something you want to know in the middle of my radio broadcast? Yes, I did, Anthony. Yes. I couldn't have waited till 6:05. You had to know in the middle of the radio show whether I had black-eyed peas. And
not to mention like half an hour too late, too.
Yeah. Well, I think you mentioned it in the chat room.
Oh, is that what it was?
I didn't answer. I'm sorry.
They say you talked about black-eyed peas a while ago.
Yeah. How many times did we score less than 10 points?
Yeah. If you lost 10, I would say 12.
5.
Really?
Less than 10 points. And we scored, what did we score this weekend?
14.
4 field goals and a safety. Nobody scored a touchdown in the Kansas City Raider game. Nobody. 14-12. And the only reason we got to 14 was because of a safety. And what's his name? Who's our kicker? Carlson. Hasn't hit the side of a board in 3 years. Used to be one of the premier field goal kickers in football. And in the last game of the season, when it doesn't matter, he hits it from 97 yards. It was actually 60. And speaking of field goal kickers, did you see? I did not know Adam Vinatieri is trying to get into the Hall of Fame for the second time.
Yep.
He's not a first-time Hall of Famer. Adam Vinatieri? The man who broke my heart? Quick timeout. Final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Activists say the death toll and violence surrounding protests in Iran has risen to at least 35. The figure came from the U.S.-based human rights activist news agency, which said more than 1,200 people have been detained in the protests, which have been ongoing for more than a week. It said 29 protesters, 4 children, and 2 members of Iran's security forces have been killed. Deposed Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro declares himself innocent and a decent man as he pleads not guilty to federal drug trafficking charges. Maduro was making his first appearance in an American courtroom on the narco-terrorism charges the Trump administration used to justify capturing him and bringing him to New York City. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. 2 17-year-olds have been arrested and booked into juvenile hall on homicide-related charges in the killing that happened Friday night outside the Foods Company on White Lane. Bakersfield PD says the 2 committed a robbery inside the store, and the victim was one of 2 people who followed them outside. In the death of a man Friday night on El Alisol Street, where police say officers shot him when he was threatening family members and police with a gun, Bakersfield PD says they will release body cam video of the incident as the investigation allows. The person's name is yet to be released, and the officers are on administrative leave for the duration of the investigation. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there too to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Tuesday's Armstrong and Getty Show. Well, I guess we run Venezuela now. Who's next? Marco Rubio seems to indicate maybe Cuba. Ian Bremmer said Greenland is for real on the radar.
Oh, my goodness. Plus tech that is going to change your world in 2026. Some really intriguing stuff coming down the line. That, and of course, the news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Come in here. Come in here. Okay. As I was coming to work, somebody plowed into a fire hydrant, and I didn't say anything because this was 2:45 this afternoon. But apparently they have not knocked it down yet, and it's causing closures in California.
Yeah, the only reason we found out is because Randy went to the bathroom and the toilet wouldn't flush. And
So it's impacting everybody.
Well, we assumed
along
nobody
Easton.
paid the bill. So Jay Reed and I from Hot 94 walked out to the front courtyard. And that's when I saw Cal Water across the street. And I said, okay, that makes a little more sense.
At the hotel?
Yeah. And then I looked down the street, and that's when I saw the accident you're alluding to. I said, what the heck? And I walked down there, and they're like, yeah, we got the call at 2:45. Like, what?
Yeah, that's about, yeah.
Well, the problem is the valve, and it's flooded to Real Road. Like, if you're coming off the freeway to turn up California Avenue, it's a
Coming
mess.
off the 99.
Coming over Real Road, cars are stopped because it's flooded pretty good. I mean, you got to figure it's been running for what, 2.5 hours now?
Easy.
All the way back down California west. The problem was the valve to shut off the fire hydrant was underneath the car.
And they couldn't get the car out?
They didn't want to pull the car off and it shoot a 80 to 100 foot geyser into the air.
Right.
And so what they ended up doing was turning off the water around the area, ours, down here on the corner by the new hotel.
And all the restaurants.
Oh, yeah. Starbucks is closed. The people at Firehouse Subs came out. We're like, yeah, we're closed for the day. Do you guys have any idea when it's coming back on?
And what about across the street, too?
Oh, yeah. All of it's closed.
Firehouse, Firestone.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far, but they were saying what they were trying to do was get the pressure down.
So they could move the car.
So then they could move the car and get maybe a 20-foot geyser instead of the 80-foot geyser.
Boy, that'd be fun to watch.
Oh, I was out there watching it. They just pulled the car off of it. I was literally watching it. You can go to my Instagram page, and they pull the car off, and the fireman looks at me. He's like, "You might want to back up there," because
Really?
I'm filming it.
How far did it go?
It went up a good 20, 30 feet. Still,
Wow.
yeah. And it just shot up, and then the Cal Water guy comes in. Somebody needs to go buy this guy Salty's Barbecue, or Casey's Steakhouse, because he walks in and the water is just pouring on him, coming down on top of him, and he
just
is
goes in and turns it off.
working feverishly, just trying to turn that thing, and he's going, and there's probably 3 firemen standing around looking at him like, "Damn, dude, that's one hell of a way to start the year."
Yeah, you got a cruddy job.
And then one fireman
Did
finally
he turn it off?
Oh yeah, he ended up getting. It took him about five minutes of turning the valve.
Really?
Oh yeah. But one of the firemen eventually stepped in, and you know how if you put your foot over it and it starts to shoot it in another direction, that's kind of what
we used to do that with the hose.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the fire guy did it with his foot, so at least it gave him a little bit of clearance.
Finally, somebody stepped in and said, "Let me help a brother out." Damn, They sat around and watched him get drenched
for about a minute.
And everybody kind of looked at each other. Well, I guess we could put our foot in there and deflect it for him.
That's what they did.
Damn.
My guy came out of there. He took off his boot. Just poured out about 2 feet of water out of his boot. Took his other one off.
They finally turn it off?
Yeah, it's
before you
off
left?
now. Yeah, it's off now.
But it's still traffic.
Oh, but it's
along California.
It's flooded. It's
Just
like
the west side, or can I get home going
just the
east?
west side. Yeah, if you're coming out this way, go back all the way up. Tell your guy to go out.
Yeah.
Out on what is that?
Eastern.
Chester. Yeah.
It's east of the Chester. Lane.
Yeah, and you should be fine. But anybody else coming up west on California, as soon as you get to Real, you'll realize something ain't right.
Or if you're trying to get off the freeway.
Or if you're coming off the freeway, exactly.
Yeah. So try to avoid California if you can. Good googly moogly.
Am I the only one though that really wanted to see the 80 to 100 foot?
Yeah,
guys?
I was hoping.
I
would
really
love
want to see that.
I would too. I would love to see that. But what are you going to do? All right, man. Appreciate it. JR Flores, everybody. Listen to him from 2 to 3 right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KER. And one quick story that I didn't really want to get to be blunt with you, is this Good Samaritan who ended up murdered. It was at a food co that I used to hang out with. My ex-girlfriend used to live right across the street over there on White Lane by La Moriscos. And it's White Lane and H, I think it is. There's a food co right there by the Derwiener Schnitzel. And apparently there was a robbery. 2 teenage gang member punks. And 17 didn't make it clear whether they robbed the store, but from the description that I heard from KGT was that the young man saw them snatch a chain off of an elderly man's neck, and the 22-year-old ran after these 2 thugs, and unfortunately shot him in the parking lot. They fired off a bunch of rounds. And the only message I have is please don't get involved in crimes. Yeah, it's very heroic and it's courageous and it's looking out for your fellow man and everything, but you just never know. And I was even going to say, maybe if you have a CCW, but not even in that case. And as predicted, they found these kids within hours. You know what I'm saying? You can't get away with armed robbery in the 21st century. You just can't. Those kids were on film from the time they left their house. And they certainly were on video from the time they left that parking lot, from the time they got into the next intersection to the time they went. I mean, the police can literally track you basically back to your own neighborhood, where they have a pretty good feeling about where you are. But, you know, it always reminds me of the kid that was just in here, JR Flores, who I'm not making this up, this is about 10 years ago. I had just been working about 2 or 3 years ago. It was before the fire, when we were working in that closet. We had just a horrible, horrible studio before Mr. Brandon erected these beautiful, beautiful state-of-the-art studios that we're in now. And we literally were in a room that was the size of this table, literally. I mean, that was the room in the studio, and had a little sliding glass door. And we were right near the very front door of the building. And we had a glass partition and a door to the studio that separated us from the hallway and the front door. And it's a matter of, as you can see here, from where I'm sitting to that wall, the door was literally right there, and the front door was just a hall across. And an angry man, this is before we had security, you could just walk in the door, walked in with an axe the size of a baseball bat and slammed it up against our window twice. And then as he was walking out, took the same axe to one of our side mirrors on our van and hit the van. And just walked in and walked out as calmly as could be. Jumped in his car. Next thing I know, JR is running through the studio with his phone, running outside to get the damn plates of the guy. And I'm screaming, get your behind back in here. Because what happens if my brother slams on brakes and says, oh, is that right? You want a little something? Let me introduce you to Paul Bunyan here, my axe that I carry around. Don't get involved in criminal behavior. as much as you want to, as much as your bravery and your heart says you should step in, don't. Pick up the phone and call 911. This kid, they identified him as Joseph Macias, was 22 years old, trying to do something good. And of course, they arrested a couple of teenagers, 2 17-year-old gang members who have been charged, obviously, with homicide, assault, gang participation, and other charges as well. And of course, they'll be out in about 5 or 6 years. 6, 7 years tops. They won't even do 10 years in prison. If you ask me, that is the issue with our judicial system. There's no uniformity. It's all somewhat rigged. It's rigged to help juveniles, try to give them a second opportunity. Well, life has changed. And some of the biggest criminals in our society are juveniles. Gang members know that the heavy lifting should be done by the youngsters because they get lesser sentencing. The OGs are like the Dons and the Capos, and they call the shots. And the buttons are the teenagers who get sent to juvenile hall. It just doesn't make any sense. But if there's any message that makes sense, don't get involved. That's when, have you ever heard when there's an escapee, they say the man is armed and dangerous, don't try to confront him, just call 911. Well, it's the same thing if you're in a bank, if you're in a liquor store, if you're, just don't do it. Call 911, pick up the phone, take a picture if you have to. I wouldn't even do that. But if you want to participate, pick up a phone and call 911. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. We'll talk about some of the new laws that have been instituted in this new year of 2026. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. Our former federal magistrate judge, Teresa Goldner, will join us. Then on Wednesday, our friends from Adaptive Networks are going to join us, the finest IT firm in Kern County, despite what you might hear on this very radio station. But ask yourself, who does American General Media use for their IT? That's right, Adaptive Networks. We'll talk with them on Wednesday. In the meantime, we'll take our final break. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk Show at the top of the hour. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KR, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show.
Former Kern County Supervisor Zach Scrivener will never see a day in jail, and it's all because of who he knows. His aunt is the district attorney, Cynthia Zimmer, but her sister, Cathy Scrivener, sits on the Kern High School District Board. She's the one that called the district attorney the night this all went down, and she's been trying to cover it up ever since, whether she's mad at her sister now for calling the sheriff or whether she's telling the kids to not talk to the police. You, Miss Cathy Scrivener, need to step down from your elected position and need to be held on obstruction charges.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for
Is that the
every
fireman or
need.
is that
Cars,
him?
scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you.
you find out how
Enjoy
the guy
free
hit it?
diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never
turns this
stranded.
way.
Tell us you heard it on the
Eastern
radio.
runs this
Get
way.
10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today,
Yeah.
589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds.
LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance.
Let me get
This
dressed
is why I
first.
have life insurance for my family, for my wife, and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Wow. Why are we doubling up?
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Eight 842 KERN, wrapping up our first day in the new year. Story of the day, Nicolas Maduro appeared before a judge today. He'll be back in court on March the 17th. And we have yet to play what the president has said. He was on Air Force One, I believe, either this morning coming back to D.C. or it might have been
I think it was
last night, and talking about the remainder of the regime and what the illegitimate vice president, now president of Venezuela, has in store for her.
I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro, because, Maduro gave up immediately.
Yes, he did. And a miraculous military effort where CIA teams have been embedded in Venezuela since August. They used drones and operatives to clock Maduro's patterns. They then built a replica of his safe house, and that's what the, led by Chinook helicopters. I think they used some more than 20 different bases, and I thought I had the number of aircraft that were used, but it was a massive military effort. And once again, whenever our military is involved, you never hear the Democrats at least applauding the men and women that pull this off. This was an extremely hazardous 150 aircraft from 20 different military bases were used. And it was brilliant. And now Maduro stands on 2 counts of weapon charges, narco-terrorism conspiracy, and another count of cocaine importation conspiracy. And the biggest critique I've heard, well, this isn't where the fentanyl is coming from. This isn't really the big problem. Well, the fact of the matter is the drug abuse in this country has dropped dramatically in 1 year. Are you calling that a coincidence? And it's not that big a deal that heroin and cocaine is being funneled into this country. I don't know if you're aware of it, but cocaine can easily be made into crack. And crack is just another synonym, essentially, or alternative to methamphetamine. It really is. And heroin, or heroin, as some pronounce it, is as addicting as any drug out there, and it's suddenly on the rise. And if you don't think it's that big a deal, then go ask the Reiner family if heroin addiction is a big deal. They spent millions of dollars trying to get their son through 17 different rehabs. And it was all crack, methamphetamine, and heroin is what he was on. And as I have concluded, maybe erroneously, but what was a kid from Brentwood doing down by Exposition Park? Most of you have been to the Coliseum. Most of you have been to USC. It's like Spelman College in Atlanta. Spelman College is located in a ghetto. It's right across the street from Morehouse. It's essentially a ghetto. But once you're on the Spelman campus, you'd think you were at Princeton. The Rockefellers and the Cosbys and the Oprah Winfrey has funneled money in there for centuries. Obviously not Bill and Oprah, but the Rockefellers have been sending money to Spelman College since the 1900s, since the beginning of the century. But it's located in a ghetto. Same thing for SC. If you're on the SC campus, you'd think you're at Harvard. You go about 2 or 3 blocks outside of SC, you go around the corner from the Coliseum, you go down Exposition Park, and you are in the ghetto. I think it's safe to assume this kid was trying to score. He was going back to his old haunts. So don't tell me that heroin and cocaine and fighting that isn't a big deal. If so, then why did the Biden administration for years put a bounty on this guy's head? Why did Joe Biden call for us to go in and get these narco terrorists? They all called for it. But once the guy they can't stand does it, they can't stand giving him credit. While the Venezuelans and the dance in the streets. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got? Let's wrap this thing up.
Rio Bravo is closed effective immediately until April 2026 for maintenance.
I read indefinitely. I have yet to get out there since they have redone that golf course. I love that golf course. I play that golf course extremely well for some reason. There are horses for courses, and I play that thing extremely well. I don't know how in the world they were able to extend the 11th hole, which is the longest par 5 I've ever played. Before they extended it, it was playing like 600 something yards. I played it when I could hit the ball. I don't know what I'd play it now with my 215, 220 yard drives, but back when I could hit it 240, 250, I would hit driver, 5-wood, 5-wood, and could get home. I could get on the green in 3 or 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I could be in the zip code in 3. If I hit a brilliant shot, I'd be on, or I'd be chipping for 4. If I 1-putt, 5, but if I 2-putt and make a bogey, you know, that whole bogey is a par. That's what I always looked at it. And a par was like a birdie. But I've heard they've extended it. I've heard they've done a nice job. It's gone through a lot of transitions. The residents out there in Rio Bravo tried to take it over. There have been different owners, boop, boop, bop. They redid the pro shop. They redid the restaurant. Again, I haven't been out there, but I've heard they've done incredibly well. And I noticed on Instagram, Sundale is trying to take advantage of that. They're inviting all the Rio Bravo folks to come over to Sundale. I haven't played Sundale in months because the guys that I play with, Mark Swaim and the boys, play at like 7:30 in the morning. And, you know, when the high is 54, I ain't playing golf at 7:30 in the morning. Sorry. I was chilly when we played Friday. It was 65 degrees. What else you got?
I didn't know Michael Bowers played for Vegas. Man, he really is everywhere. Said Michael Bowers instead of Brock Bowers when we were talking about the Raiders.
Oh, did I really?
You did, yes.
You guys didn't know that Michael Bowers got drafted signed free agent.
Quite the athlete.
Yeah. By the way, I found out over the holidays that I have a cousin in the National Football League.
Do you really?
Tutu Atwell is my cousin.
No kidding.
His father is my grandmother's nephew.
Huh.
So whatever that makes me. His grandfather grew up in Beaufort. He grew up in Miami. I think he went to U of M. And he could have made a big catch 2 weeks ago, but he got interfered with, and he didn't come up with it. You remember what I'm talking about?
I do, yes.
It was a deep ball, and the guy had his left arm, and he damn near one-handed it.
He's a great receiver.
My uncle told me that, and I said, I should have known that. He said, why you say that? I said, because only a kid from Beaufort could be named Tutu. Because I said, what's his real name? And he said, Tutu.
Is it really?
I said, shut up. He said, yeah. I said, I should have known that.
I thought it was just going to be short for something.
Only a kid from Beaufort would the mama look down at a baby child and say, we're going to name him Tutu.
Well, you know, it's funny. Our DJ for Hits 93.1, KG, is cousins with Jamar Chase as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, apparently KG has family down there in Louisiana, which is Jamar's family.
And my mother's nephew was a ball player. Apparently his dad was a player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if I can't remember if my uncle told me that he actually made
And I do believe that would make him your distant cousin.
Yeah, my grandmother's nephew.
Yeah, because grandmother's nephew. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. His dad is grandma's nephew, right?
His dad is my grandmother's nephew.
So yeah, that I think.
So he's my uncle's first cousin,
third cousin, something like that.
Yeah.
I really don't know exactly the number lineage way of doing this, but
he's got green blood in him. That's all I know. And I've got green blood in me. Sadie Mae Green, my sainted maternal grandmother, and her 7 sisters.
Look at that. There was some athleticism in the family genes.
My dad was a great athlete. My dad arguably could have played professional baseball.
Remember you saying that?
Telling you. They wanted him to come to Savannah and try out. Scouts saw him in Beaufort. My grandfather said, if you take that bus to Savannah, I'll never talk to you again. You better get on that bus for Atlanta and go to Morehouse College. Thank you, Jesus. He listened. Can you imagine? Want to thank Cathy Abernathy for joining us, and for all of you for joining us for our 2026 debut. Tomorrow, Teresa Goldner will be here live in studio. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I'll rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN.
So what do I tell my guy? What do I tell my guy? What if he's coming off the freeway? What if he's coming north to south?
He's gonna
Get off at.
Oh, we get off on Rosedale and come up Mohawk and come back down to get you rather than cut through it. You know what I mean?
No, he's screwed. He's screwed. What can I tell him? I don't know where he's coming from. I just got to pray he's coming from the west. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I am curious how flooded it is, too.
I am, too. Man, I'm telling you, it was flooded on 23rd Street Saturday. In the rain. In the rain. I hope I want to go outside. In the rain. Please stand by. I haven't even done the promo, have I?
No, you're set up to do that whenever.
1 second. Juicy burger, $20. Can't beat that. Oh, goddamn. I almost brought you dinner again. I'm going to lose this one, aren't I? Trying to order my dinner now and order the Uber at the same time. And the prices are back down. $12 to get home, and that's a little more than usual, but it ain't the 15, 16 during the damn holidays. All right, what do we do today? I don't want to do Maduro. I don't want to do Zach. Three, two. Look, I admire the ability of a 22-year-old to want to get involved and stop a crime that he's witnessing, but please don't. Don't ever do that. The best thing you can do is pick up the phone and call 911. Because again, somebody got involved, a 22-year-old, and it ends tragically. Call 911. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on our Tuesday broadcast. Well, our former federal magistrate Judge Teresa Golder will be here. We'll have the latest on what is going on in South America, and me at 3. It's TRBS right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3. That was horrible. That was horrible.
He reports the Mountain Enterprise newspaper, and many of them want the county's fish and wildlife personnel to help them out.
And now I've got to go back.
People have game cam videos of the mountain lions attacking pets and livestock. California's average price for gas has gone down a couple of cents and is now $4.18, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey, Dad. How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, well, first of all, it's Tuesday. That means the triumphant return of Lois Henry from sjbwater.org. Elena Rusk will be joining us to tell us how much rain we got, and we'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Ready to break the narrative? Get the real story with no filters and no apologies. Cut through the noise with real conversation.